We are working to determine the involvement of others.
They're urging witnesses, including anyone with cell phone footage, to come forward. The shooting at the end of a Super Bowl victory parade left a mother of 2 dead and more than 20 people injured, ranging in age from 8 to 47. Half are children under age 16. Secretary of State Antony Blinken offering reassurance to the public about a national security threat that lawmakers are being briefed about.
This is not an active capability, but it is a potential one that we're taking very, very seriously.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House.
We have confirmed that this threat deals with an emerging Russian nuclear capability in space that would be used to target satellites, including to take out U.S. military operations and communications. We're told this asset is not yet deployed. It's not operational yet.
For now, the details remain classified. Former President Trump says the hush money case against him is rigged and a sham.
So it's a very unfair situation. They want to keep me nice and busy so I can't campaign so hard.
Speaking to reporters at the New York courthouse, where a judge denied a defense motion to dismiss the case and said the trial will begin March 25th, the former president denies charges of falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments made to 2 women by his attorney. A misconduct hearing set to continue in Georgia, where prosecutors in an election interference case admit a relationship but deny any inappropriate ramifications. A friend of Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis testified the relationship began earlier than they say. America is listening to Fox News.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We're going to start to see a slow drop in temperature going through the afternoon. Lots of clouds around tonight, 32. Friday, a mix of snow, sleet, and rain in the morning. 1, maybe 2 inches St. Louis north, and then a light rain during the afternoon, but a little snow could even mix in there. 35 for the high. Flurries Friday night down to 22. Saturday, sunny 34. Sunday, sunny 49. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Get ready. This week, Staples has deals so good, you're going to want to sit down. Are you sitting? I'll wait. Great. Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, you can save up to $180 on select chairs. That's up to $180 off desk chairs, up to $180 off computer chairs, and up to $180 off gaming chairs. So hurry into Staples now for the Staples Sit-a-thon and grab a seat or 2. Ends 3/2. In-store only. See associate for details.
KFC's new smashed potato bowl is out here looking like an absolute snack. For just $3.49, you get crispy secret recipe fries topped with creamy mashed potatoes, cheese sauce, bacon crumbles, and even more melty cheese. If you're looking to smash your hunger, Grab KFC's new smashed potato bowl for just $3.49. For a little extra, add nuggets to the mix. It's finger-licking good. Prices and participation may vary. Tax, tip, and fees extra.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
The Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Good to be here with you this afternoon. From what I understand, we're supposed to get snow tomorrow. Is that right?
I have not heard that, but I would be excited for that.
You would be excited for
yes,
snow?
I do like snow. I want at least one good snow in a winter.
We haven't had that yet?
So I was a little bit jealous of the Northeast, and they said they got almost a foot, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Don't you, it's the best kind is when it comes in, it dumps everywhere, stops everything for maybe 36 hours.
Yes.
Then it can go.
Yep.
We'll watch and see what happens. I know we were supposed to initially get snow on Super Bowl Monday. That certainly didn't happen. I think it was actually kind of a lovely day on Monday. We'll see about tomorrow. So keep it here on 97.1 FM Talk for those updates, weather updates for Dave Murray. The news is kind of all over the place today. There's a lot of little news about a lot of different things. I'm excited to have Hans von Spakovsky on with us in about 15 minutes from right now to break down what we're hearing from the Fonnie Willis Wade trial that is taking place right now. Wade has been on the stand throughout the course of the day. Nathan Wade. I was going to say Nathan Wade, but for 1 second, I was wondering, like, do I know Nathan Wade personally? Is that somebody in my life? And I'm screwing up the name. Like, I always accidentally say Joe De Niro instead of Robert De Niro. Hey, Joe. I know him personally. I was listening to it in my car on the way here, and I mean, when you're watching a trial unfold, that's not a dip in and out situation. Watching an attorney press a witness is meticulous. I think it's the science behind it is fascinating to me to watch an attorney press upon a witness and then watch the witness's attorney object on these grounds and that grounds, because I've never been in a courtroom for an active trial, and I'm not really itching to be in a courtroom for an active trial for any particular reason. But I also think it matters, and I remember this from the Johnny Depp, what was her name? What's the other one?
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. That trial, why we covered that is, we didn't. We didn't on this station. But why we covered that as a nation as closely as we did, man, it would be one thing to listen to it, but the facial expressions from Johnny Depp, the facial expressions from Amber Heard, good grief, there was a lot being said that wasn't mouthed, right?
Oh, yeah, but that's what you get when you put two actors on the stage.
Nathan Wade's testimony is resuming right now, and all the networks were covering it live. I don't know. It's mundane. It's meticulous. It's important. This is the way court cases are. I mean, if I'm used to having the crime committed, the investigation take place, the court hearing happening, and the resolution in 60 seconds or 60 minutes on CBS. Like that's the experience that I have. So I wholeheartedly admit that I can't dip into this. Sometimes there will be a question that's asked and I'm like, ooh, he's hesitating to answer that question. But if I'm listening to it on the air and I'm not seeing what's going on in the courtroom, so we're not going to air that, specifically not on this show. And we will use our connections like with Hans von Spakovsky to have a discussion about break this down for us so that we understand what's happening. Is there anything damning here? Did the prosecution of this trial completely fall apart? I don't know. Hans is going to tell us at 12:25. Donald Trump also finding out today that he's going to have a trial March 25th is when the hearing is going to be. That was determined today. And so he has not been able to have that trial dismissed. Which one is that? I had it in front of me and then I lost it. How confusing is it? And this is why when you listen to AOC of yesterday, we played that clip for you yesterday where she says, Joe Biden is old. But it's important to remember Joe Biden at 81, Donald Trump at 77. Donald Trump also has 91 felonies against him. That's where the chaos, they all get boiled into the same thing. If Donald Trump were exonerated on all but one of those felonies that he's been charged with, it would still be that he was charged with 91 felonies. Now, he'd also, if he got charged on one, he'd be a felon. I think to a lot of the American people that are voting in November, that felony that he would be charged with, just because he's going to be a felon, isn't going to strike him from the record for people wanting to cast their vote for him. Which of the things that he's being charged with will he be convicted of, if any? In my conversations with legal experts, I don't think that he's going to be exonerated for all of these things. There's going to be appeals. The Supreme Court will be involved. The question will be how many of these trials will come to their conclusion before the election day. And if the left is going to continuously every day run on the idea of he's been charged, how much political capital does that have? Because if it doesn't have enough to keep Donald Trump from being elected president in November, the game changes dramatically. We've got Tyrus at 105. We've got Congressman Mike Bost at 125. And I'm looking forward to talking to him about the Mayorkas impeachment, which we did not speak. We talked to Congressman Jason Smith yesterday from Missouri about the Tony Bobolinsky hearing that he was involved in. But we didn't really get to the Mayorkas thing at all. Mike Bost voted in favor of impeachment, of course. We're going to ask him at 125 about that and see what it is that he has to say about the Mayorkas impeachment and where he expects it to go from here. Also, that congressional bill on border funding. How will that end up materializing in the House? Let's listen to a CNN report on the border, air quotes, crisis.
There does seem to be a bit of a divide inside the Democratic Party about how to grapple with this immigration issue. But you're right, it is going to be a front and center issue. We normally think of it, I think in the past, John, like that it's just an issue for the right-wing echo chamber. But the whole movement that Greg Abbott did and what have you to bring the migrant issue and crisis to cities, to blue states and cities, that has changed the calculus here. You see this issue rising in importance for all voters.
You do see the issue of the border crisis rising for all voters. But Brad, it's very obvious to me, and I think other people out there, that the reason why this issue is being discussed by the White House, I mean, they didn't even acknowledge it.
Right.
Up until a couple months ago.
The line was the border is under control. The border is secure.
We were told that.
Yes, constantly.
By the mouthpiece of the White House, Karine Jean-Pierre, repeatedly, emphatically saying that the border is secure, touting their responsibility and their effectiveness and their success on the southern border. It's clearly risen to the issue of political crisis.
Yep.
For Joe Biden, and I'm getting to this point. The YouTube live chat poll for today is: will the Democratic ticket in November be Biden-Harris? You've got four choices. One is yes, and one is no, neither of them. But you also have two other choices in there, that no Biden on the ticket or no Harris on the ticket, because there are a lot of possibilities, a lot of discussions that are being thrown out there and talked about as to how the Democrats are going to approach what they do for after the convention. I know that it would be it would be very risky to, at the convention, have a scenario where somebody else gets nominated. I refuse to believe that these unprecedented occasions that we've experienced here recently won't continue to occur in the rest of this year. The idea that you hear people say, this has never happened before, this hasn't happened since the 18 whatevers. I don't think that matters. I think that we are in uncharted waters right now, to the point where anything is on the table, and the Democrats certainly will do whatever it takes to win. I think that, gosh, if I'm going to say, Brad, would you agree with this statement that the Democrats are willing to do whatever they need to do to win?
Oh, absolutely.
Are the Republicans willing to do whatever they? Isn't that frustrating?
It is incredibly frustrating.
I was going to say, well, both parties would, but both parties wouldn't.
No. I was thinking about this yesterday when you were talking about it, and I think it was the first segment yesterday. Democrats play to win. That's it. That's why Bob Menendez is still in the Senate.
Comfortably.
And like, the only person calling for Menendez from the Democratic side to step down is John Fetterman. That's it. And Menendez had gold bars in his pocket. What Menendez is accused of is way more heinous than what Santos was accused of. But Republicans, they play for moral victories. We want to seem like we are the fine, upstanding, moral people in this situation. But the line from the Democrats is Republicans are evil, and that's what's easy to say, and that's what's easy to do because they have control over all that. So Republicans can't win that battle, so they end up shooting themselves in the foot by sending Santos on his way because they want to look good. That's a moral victory, not a real victory. Democrats play to win. They're cutthroat.
So the question is, do you want the Republicans to be that way? Because I don't know that I do.
Yeah, but we got to put some points on the board. What I want is the American people to recognize that about the Democrats and stop buying the lie that Republicans are evil. Republicans have some standards, and they hold themselves to that standards. And that should be enough for voters, but it's not.
None of this matters if you trust the election process.
This is true.
And I don't trust where our elections are today regarding how long the voting process is open. But that's the name of the game. To me, what I want to see the Republicans do is fully invest in an early voting campaign where they invest money. I mean, you can look at what Turning Point USA is doing. Turning Point, I guess. They are working to actually put people in motion to go out and do what the Democrats are doing to collect ballots. What the Democrats are doing is legal.
Yes.
You can't, it does not even matter an ounce if you like it. In fact, it's probably to the Democratic benefit if you don't. If the Democrats know that they are legally out there chasing ballots and pissing you off at the same time, win-win for the Dems.
Mm-hmm.
And watching Republicans wring their hands and say, well, I believe Election Day should be the only day that vote. It doesn't matter. It literally isn't even part of the conversation. Not now, because you ain't going to win an election to make that be the case in your state based on how your state chooses to, because elections are run by the states. You got to win. And if you're not going to play on the field where the battle is being fought, you're going to lose because you're never even showing up to the battle. And I just don't have the confidence that the Republicans and the apparatus that is the Republican Party fully gets it. Because I've heard them say we don't really have the RNC on the show very much.
Mm-mm.
The RNC is easy to get on the show. If we call the RNC, they will come on. I commend them for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I don't go to them terribly much is because that's the origination of talking points for a party. I don't find that to be necessary to bring to you when it's pretty easy and obvious to you what needs to be done with this country, the things that need to be changed, the things that need to be emphasized. My question to the RNC would be more as an advocacy for you to the RNC. Are you going to reflect these wants and desires of the people? And I've had those questions, and the people that I've talked to at the RNC are all very kind, nice people, well-versed, well-spoken. That's their job. But to have the RNC come on to the show and say, the Republicans need to focus on the border, or the American people need to understand that the border, we know. We get that.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden is an old and incapable man who is running this country, I guess, by proxy. It's what it feels like. If Republicans come on this show and tell you that, have you been exposed to new information? No, because you've got two eyes. You've got the capacity yourself. You don't need people to provide you the talking points. It's just not necessary. When I look at the future of this country, and when I look at the election, which is 264 days from today, that is not a long time. That will go by in a snap. When I look at that, my only question now is to the RNC, what are you doing to make sure that we are strapped and ready to go on the battlefield that has been drawn for this fight to take place, to make sure that we win on every down? That we understand where to block, where to run, where to throw, the whole gamut. We need to understand, as voters, people who already get this stuff. I mean, you're listening to conservative talk radio. You don't need me to come here and tell you, well, these are the issues that matter to the American people. You know them. I am a reflection of many of you who have these thoughts, and bringing people into the conversation here. If I'm going to bring them in, it needs to expand the conversation, not just affirm. It's a waste of your time and mine, and honestly theirs. How are people getting involved? And in turn, I have to ask you, how are you getting involved? I have to ask myself, how am I getting involved? If I spend 15 hours a week getting behind this microphone and saying the border is on fire, it's a problem, I'm not doing enough if that's what I'm doing. How am I bridging the gap to impress upon other people the things that concern me, to bring them into a conversation that maybe they haven't felt comfortable being a part of yet, but also putting my feet into action so that I can affect some sort of change somewhere? It's not enough for me to have this show. It's not enough for you to tune into the show and go, Annie and I agree again, or I disagree with Annie on everything again. It's not enough. This is like maybe group therapy, but I've never heard of any counseling or therapy that didn't give action items, so that when you leave that room, when you leave that conversation, you don't go out into the world and just do the same things over and over and over again until you have another opportunity to sit down and talk about it. We got to move the ball. And I'm waiting to see from the top of the structure of the Republican Party a very clear-cut emphasis on how to move the ball. You don't need to point and tell me, there's the ball. This is what the ball looks like. This is the shape of the ball. This is where the ball lies. I know that stuff already. How do we get it into the end zone? I'm waiting. I'm not seeing it. When it comes to the ballot in 2024, right now it's looking as though it will be Joe Biden for the Dems, Donald Trump for the Republicans. Donald Trump is under legal challenges in every favorable district that the Democrats can muster a trial. One of those is Fulton County, Georgia, which is a very interesting one because those are not federal charges. Those are state charges, which means should Donald Trump be convicted of any felonies in that trial, he would not be able to, if he became president, pardon himself for those because they're state charges. They're not federal charges. In the meantime, Fani Willis's boyfriend, Nathan Wade, is on trial right now, being questioned about his relationships, expenditures, so on and so forth, whether or not he told the truth under oath. We're going to talk to Hans von Spakovsky when we come back, and he's going to give us the breakdown of what he's learned so far today. Has anything come out of this? Maybe it's a nothing burger. Maybe it's a bombshell. I'm sure that you could go onto the internet right now and find articles with headlines that say nothing burger and bombshell at the same time. Let's get to the bottom of it here on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. The YouTube live chat poll. Will the Democrat ticket in November be Biden-Harris? Yes, no Biden, no Harris, or neither. Annie Frey YouTube channel, Hans von Spakovsky when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Wish I could be there for you. Give me a reason to. Every time I'm walking out, I can hear you telling me to turn around.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If you're making the minimum payments, but your balance is just not going down, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it will take years to get out of debt, call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 5 million people. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, call Consolidated Credit now.
Call now, 800-552-6750. That's 800-552-6750. 800-552-6750.
Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Not a loan company licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 19, Oregon DM 80031. Licensed by Virginia State Corporation. Commission license number DC 32. Establishment of a plan may adversely affect the individual's credit rating or credit scores. Non-payment of debt may lead creditors to increase financial charges or collections activity, including litigation.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
If your needs are electrical in the commercial and industrial space, get a hold of Reinhold Electric. They will be your electrician moving forward. They are experienced in providing electrical designs and installations. They have the inventory. They have the manpower that can take care of it. Reinhold Electric can take care of surge protection, parking lot lighting, and everything in between. Inline generator, they got you covered. Call them today at 314-631-1158, online at ReinholdElectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Fish Fry Fridays are back, and the Mark Reardon Show is hitting the road. Join us at Incarnate Word Parish in Chesterfield this Friday, February 16th. We'll chat. It's a live Reardon Roundtable. We'll eat. Don't miss it. More info at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Gloria.
I think that if there is a strong appearance of impropriety here, there's a very strong likelihood that both Wade and Fonnie Willis will be disqualified. And it's Willis that really matters. If Wade gets disqualified, someone else can step in.
We the people of the United States.
More perfect.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
Well, we've been watching this trial on television. I listened to some of it on my way in the car, and listening to it is more boring than watching it on television. But I got to ask Hans von Spakovsky, our friend, about what he has gathered so far from this Nathan Wade, Fannie Willis trial taking place in Atlanta right now. Hans, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. And I think the only way to describe it is that it's a disaster for Fannie Willis.
Really? Give us some of the bullet points as to what has come out today so far to affirm the disaster prognosis from Hans von Spakovsky.
Well, keep in mind that a key factor in this is whether or not she was having an adulterous relationship with Nathan Wade before he hired her, because that brings up all kinds of ethical and professional conduct issues. And she filed a sworn affidavit with the court saying that, no, didn't start till after she'd hired him. Well, we've already heard testimony this morning from a former friend of hers and former employee in her office who said that, contrary to what Fannie Willis said under oath, the romantic relationship started 2 years before Fannie Willis says it did, which was long, long before she hired Nathan Wade. That, if you take that testimony as true, and there's no reason for this woman to be up there lying about it, it means that Fannie Willis committed perjury when she filed a sworn affidavit with the court. Nathan Wade is now up on the stand, and he's doing everything he can to evade answering simple questions about the nature and extent of his sexual relationship with Fannie Willis. And remember, one of the big issues is, did Fannie Willis benefit from all the money she was paying Nathan Wade as a special prosecutor? And I just saw an exchange in which Nathan Wade claimed, she would reimburse me for her share of the cost of all these luxury trips we took. Do you have any receipts for it? Well, I know receipts. She always paid me in cash.
Of course. That's what you would do. You know, one of the things that I was listening to earlier today was his explanation, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but a lot of the discovery and the information that has really thrust this forward is the fact that he is or was going through a divorce, and there are a lot of details that have come out in his divorce hearing that fill in a lot of the blanks with the relationship with Fonnie Willis. And what I heard Nathan Wade say today, I was listening to it again. I wasn't watching it, so I think that kind of causes you to consume it a little bit differently. But Nathan Wade is arguing that due to infidelity on his soon-to-be ex-wife's part in 2015, that his marriage was irreversibly ended in 2015, but they decided that they were going to stay together for the kids, and he wanted to be present in the home, and that they weren't going to get a divorce until the kids had moved out. So as far as the infidelity on his part goes, it wasn't infidelity. He was still married, but the marriage was effectively ended in his mind in 2015 because of her infidelity. Does any of that matter legally in the conversation that's taking place here? Because it sure did.
No,
it sure painted him as a victim, the way he presented it.
Yeah, and that is just that's exactly what he's trying to do, paint himself as a victim. But one of the lawyers for one of the other defendants just went through asking him questions about the interrogatories, which are the written questions in discovery that you have to answer. And it was very clear, again, from his evasive answers that he lied. He lied in those interrogatory answers because he didn't want to admit, again, the extent of and nature of his sexual relationship with Fannie Willis. Just getting him to admit he had been having a sexual relationship with the district attorney, it was like pulling teeth to get him to admit what everybody already knows happened. So all of this just, I really have a hard time seeing how the judge, just based on what we've already heard, how he's not going to have a choice to do anything other than recuse her from the trial. And frankly, given the kind of presentation Wade is putting on, I think he's got to pull both of them out of the case. And if that happens, again, I don't think he has a choice but to pull out every single person who works for her, which means the entire Fulton County DA's office is out of the case.
Okay. So if that tracks and the sequence of events happens the way you said, specifically Fannie Willis, also Nathan Wade, and whoever else might be in that circle that would be removed from the trial, what happens to the trial?
What happens under the rules governing this kind of a situation in Georgia is that the judge transfers the criminal prosecution to a different county.
Oh.
And the district attorney in that county has to then basically review and re-examine the case and decide whether he or her want to continue to prosecute it.
Who chooses the county? The judge?
The judge will determine what county it goes to, yeah.
Is there another county in Georgia like Fulton County?
Yeah, Cobb County next door is also a huge, DeKalb County next door is a big Democratic stronghold. So transferring it over there really wouldn't do much about the, frankly, abusive nature of the criminal prosecution to begin with and all the problems with it. So
Is that the obvious county it would go to? Like, how does the judge? Because I would think that the county that you would transfer the case to would be dramatically impactful on the sequence of events that happens next.
Yeah, I think the judge ought to transfer this case if he doesn't decide to just dismiss it all. But if he decides to transfer it, it needs to be to a county far away from Atlanta. Which I think the venue, I just don't think the defendants can get a fair trial, frankly, in any of the surrounding counties of the metropolitan Atlanta area because of the politics there.
Okay, so let's go back to what we are watching unfold right now in the courtroom. This Nathan Wade being on the stand right now and has been for quite some time. This is all surrounding the big question about, from what I understand, Fannie Willis. Like, this is the question is around her behavior, her actions, and her, most importantly, truthfulness under oath. Is that what this all boils down to?
No, not. I mean, that's an important factor, but there's also the issue of, look, she did not get the approval of the Fulton County commissioners. They run the government there. She did not get their approval to hire a special prosecutor when she's got this big DA office. Moreover, she didn't get approval from them to pay him any money. Instead,
you're saying him as in Nathan Wade.
As in Nathan Wade, right. She got no permission to hire an outsider, and the money that she used to pay him was extra money that she told the county commission she needed because of COVID. And she obviously then lied to the county commissioners also. If she was having a romantic relationship with her and he was paying for all these trips, he claims she reimbursed him, but that's a little hard to believe. Well, then that brings up the issue of potential kickbacks that a county employee, Fannie Willis, was receiving from a vendor, Mr. Wade, for the county. That is illegal under both state law and federal law. Those are all prominent issues, all of which at their base are the relationship she was having with this guy.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky. He's the senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, as well as a DOJ lawyer. And we love our opportunities to talk with you, and it's hard to comb through all of the legal issues that are facing us, especially on the political scene right now. But this Fulton County, Georgia case has always kind of been a different animal than the rest of them, my understanding, because of the nature of it being state charges as opposed to federal charges. If he gets convicted in this trial, it's a different animal than the rest of the charges that we have seen him face, save maybe one in New York. Again, there's so many. You're saying right now that it's been a disaster for Fani Willis today in court. What is the timeline that we are looking for this hearing to, make its way through and finalize, and then the resulting action, which, as you've articulated already, could be a change of venue or a county, or by the judge, a complete dismissal of the case as a whole?
Well, the judge scheduled 2 days of hearings, and that may get stretched because if anybody who's been watching it has probably been noticing that Fani Willis's lawyers have been standing up and constantly objecting. One objection after another, which keep getting overruled by the judge. They're doing that to delay testimony coming out that hurts them. Frankly, if I was the judge, I would be starting to get angry at them for what is obviously a delaying tactic. We then don't know how long it'll take the judge to make a decision. But there isn't a trial going to go forward, that's for sure, until this issue has been decided. So for right now, the actual criminal trial of these defendants, including Donald Trump, is delayed. And once this hearing's over, like I said, don't know how long it'll take the judge to make a decision. I mean, he might not even make a decision. He might say, I need an independent investigation by, for example, the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is the state equivalent of the FBI. I need an independent investigation to look at find out the truth of all this. That may not happen. He's always got that option, but there's just no telling how long this will delay the case.
Hans, you're talking about it being a disaster today in court and laying out the great areas of concern that any American, especially those in Fulton County where Fani Willis represents those individuals, there's a huge amount of impropriety that is alleged here. I don't, as a Republican, I don't, as somebody who wants to believe in a no one is above the law system, that we're going to see justice prevail, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's not as big and bold and in the favor of Donald Trump as a Trump voter would like it to be, but I would like to see justice play out here. And as somebody who covers this and watches it every day, I have no faith whatsoever that, as obvious as the wrongdoing is on one side, that there's going to be a reckoning for that at all. Do you feel, in what you've witnessed so far, that there is a way for Fani Willis, for Nathan Wade, for the people involved in the system to skate through this and continue on as usual?
Oh, yeah, they could. If the judge decides to overlook all this behavior, and if the State Bar Association, Georgia, ignores it, then they will have skated through, and both the judge and the State Bar Association will have violated their duty to uphold the law, because there are all kinds of ethical violations going on here, some of which there's not even any question about. And let me just tell you one, that there's no question this is a violation of the Professional Code of Conduct. Remember, when all these motions got filed, remember what she did? She went to her church, right, and gave a sermon. And in that sermon, she accused the defendants of being racist for filing these motions against her. In other words, she claimed there was racial animus behind it. The Professional Code of Conduct says that prosecutors cannot make what's called extrajudicial statements. In other words, statements outside the courtroom in public that would tend to cause public condemnation of defendants. Well, that's exactly what she did. That's a clear-cut violation, like I said, of the rules governing lawyers in Georgia, and the Bar Association down there has an absolute duty to do something about that.
Do you have any thoughts or opinions on the judge? Do you know anything about him?
I don't know really anything about him. So far, he seems to have been doing a pretty fair-minded job, particularly overruling some of the what I consider to be frivolous objections being filed by Fani Willis's lawyers. But the end result will tell us what we know about him, whether or not he actually does something about all the wrongdoing that's being uncovered, or whether he just glances it over and says, nothing to see here, we'll go on with the trial.
Well, his integrity and the integrity of the county and the system there is certainly under the microscope. And we will, I guess, wait and see. And Hans, have you back as soon as possible so that we can get the next chapter of this crazy time in our legal system. You're always very, very appreciated here on the Annie Frey Show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you, Hans. Senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner, DOJ lawyer as well. Author, Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America. Things boomers got right. All right, boomers. And I say all right, boomers, because I didn't say okay, boomers, because that's different. There's connotation involved in the second phrase there. We'll find out what Ryan Wiggins thinks of his generation, the boomers. When we come back, don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Did you know me when I was younger than I could take the whole world with me? I would find myself feeling alone. Heaven help me now, heaven show the way, get me back on my own 2 feet.
RulerFoods.com is there to save you money every time you get that cart. Put a quarter in, grab the cart, shop, and you save. It's really simple. If you go to RulerFoods.com, you can always see the ad, the current promotions that are available that show you the things that are extra on sale. And when you go to Ruler Foods and you start looking at everything, even if it's not in the circular, you're going to see, wow, okay, Annie's onto something here. Right now in General Mills, big bag cereals, 32 to 35 ounces, $5.99. Kroger russet potatoes, 10-pound bags, $2.99. Kroger pork loin chops, 5-count, or home-style beef patties, 4-count, $5. And Heritage Farm chicken leg quarters that are sold in a 10-pound bag, 49 cents a pound. Stretch your grocery bill every time you shop at Ruler Foods. Enjoy the cleanliness, the organization that Ruler Foods provides you. And if you've driven past the store and you thought, I don't know, I've heard Annie talk about it, but I don't know. I want you to just set that aside just once for me, and go in the store and see how you can save so much money. Regular brands that you shop, as well as Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Learn everything you need to know at RulerFoods.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-674-2189 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-674-2189. That's 800-674-2189. What do you have to lose? Call 800-674-2189. Again, 800-674-2189.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
This weekend, February 16th, 17th, and 18th, it's the semi-annual Missouri Arms Collectors Gun Show at the Arnold Eagles Hall in Arnold, Missouri. Browse tables of firearms, ammo, knives, books, and military items. Buy, sell, or trade. Admission's only $9, kids under 12 free with a paid adult, and parking is free. Don't miss the semi-annual Missouri Arms Collectors Gun Show this weekend at the Arnold Eagles on 1725 Jeffco Boulevard. For complete information, visit MissouriArms.com. The Missouri Arms Collectors Association is a not-for-profit NRA affiliate.
The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll of the day is, will the Democrat ticket in November be Biden-Harris? Yes or no? There's some options here, too. No Biden, no Harris, neither. So take your pick. Let us know. It's the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll of the day. It is 12:50. Just switched over. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Whatever happens next happens here. Your trusted voice for 23 years. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Well, this is a continuation because it was so popular in the last episode when we did this.
It was so What is your metric of proof?
Man, when you go on the street,
Everyone's talking about
people
it.
are like, "Oh man, the boomer thing was so good. Why don't you do that again on Thursday?"
That's a great metric. I'll allow it.
And so I said, "Gee, okay, I was just trying to get a coffee here."
Can you imagine
people.
going down these streets and
Yeah.
hearing someone say that?
Like, oh man, you on the Annie Frey Show, right? That show is hot.
Yeah, everybody who's walking around on these streets is listening to this show.
We are real big right in downtown St. Louis. You get out to the collar counties, though.
Nobody's listening. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But right down in the population center, man, people freak out every time we walk around. Walk across the street, get a pancake. People are like, oh, man, that's the Annie Frey Show guy.
Across the street to get a pancake is such a random thing to say.
Chris's
but
Pancakes is right over there.
It makes total sense because of that.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had pancakes there. We've had breakfast
Yeah,
there.
we have breakfast there all the time as a show, like as a family, as a show.
Never happened. I've had breakfast with Brad there.
You know, the one or two times I ever have had a business meeting over there, I have ordered breakfast and milk, and apparently people laugh at me because you're not supposed to order milk in a business meeting. Is that true?
Well, you're an adult.
It's a weird thing to get.
Milk?
Yeah.
But it's with breakfast food.
It's like a little kid.
I know, but
I think it's okay to get milk, and if you're confident.
Well, both times it happened,
You know what?
somebody brought it up.
Most people of a certain age would get coffee.
I get coffee separately. I get tea and things. I don't like drinking coffee with my pancake.
We're running out of time.
Things boomers got right, episode 2. Okay, so
milk with their
last time we talked about app exhaustion and phones at concerts / phones at fireworks presentations, bringing back knobs in cars, and then emojis in work emails. This one lists letting kids play as something that boomers got absolutely right.
100%.
That we have really abandoned as a society. Kids do great with totally unstructured outdoor play. They don't need an organized game or activity. If you take a bunch of kids to a park and keep an eye on them.
Device.
Or a device is a great point that they get to elsewhere in this. They will figure out stuff to do together and often just come up with creative and interesting things that adults wouldn't have thought of.
And if
Just
you're
let 'em
looking
go.
to entertain yourself, it's fun to watch while those kids sit around and look at each other, and all they just keep saying is, "I'm so bored."
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
Do your kids do that?
They know better.
My kids are starting to come,
They-
hey, Dad, what? They don't say I'm bored, but they'll say, what should I do?
Start assigning them chores.
And I have done that, and then they have begun to stop asking.
Yeah. Every once in a while they'll say they're bored, but when my kids say that they're bored, they're in a circumstance that isn't like free playtime. It's like it's something that's probably you should be bored.
I think I'm going to tell them more often, this is free play time. You go do free play.
I feel like the best toy you could ever get your kid is a pile of dirt.
Yeah.
Growing up,
I'm sure kids feel the same.
Dirt.
Here's your dirt.
Man, I'm telling you what, growing up though, my dad, we called it the dirt pile. My dad had a spot where he would empty out the bed of his truck and it was just a big old pile of dirt. And our friends would come over. We would spend hours just digging holes and playing games.
Calling each other. Hey, you guys going over to Brad Range's house?
Yeah, he's got the dirt pile.
You got dirt pile?
Wavy says, I will almost skip breakfast if I don't have milk.
Thank you, Wavy. I'm waving at you.
Wavy is for Illinois.
The next one is tip creep. We've talked about this subject before, but this is something that they're saying boomers are getting right. Say every business is asking for tips at checkout. digital menus, not being able to own things anymore like software and having to pay monthly fees for car features. That seems like they're bringing up a lot of other things within tip creep. But tip creep being that you have to ask or at least respond to the question, do you want to tip, basically anytime you buy anything anymore.
I just feel very comfortable saying no.
I still don't. I still feel bad if I say no.
Do you
like
say
I try
no?
well, they flip the screen around usually, and I'm like, oh yeah, let me get to that in a second. And I'll like wait till they turn around and be like, no.
It's not like they don't realize what happened.
Yeah, I know, but I still feel kind of bad about it. Even when it's in a situation where they're just doing what they would do. They're not serving me anything. This is me at the counter.
Yeah.
That's traditionally not a place where you tip.
Super easy not to tip if it's a job where they get paid the full minimum wage that is Illinois. What is it, $15 an hour now? No, they don't need an extra 10%. It's really easy to click that no button and flip that screen right back to them.
It's true. We've talked about this one too, but
you
they're
seem
saying
like the type of guy who would start giving like life tips.
like writing it in my signature.
No, just
don't accept wooden nickels.
I wouldn't wear that hat anymore. That kind of thing.
How about this one? I think we've crossed this bridge before. Boomers get it right. Gender reveals.
Oh God.
Just tell us if you're having a boy or girl, say the boomers.
Yeah.
Or wait till the baby's born.
No.
We don't need to assemble some sort of ridiculous reveal. I don't want pink or blue dust all over my house.
The other thing is that I hope that you're surrounded by people who are as happy for you if you're having a girl or a boy. Like nobody, it's just hard. It's a life. I understand that. Trust me. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that much.
Yeah. When you're having a baby though, especially if it's first one, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, but have a fourth.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's another kid.
It is.
And, with the closest thing I got to a gender reveal was, first of all, I've told the story before. My husband did not want to know what our first child was. He wanted to find out when the baby was born, and I was not having it. So I found out at about 18 weeks that we were having a boy, and I did not tell him the entire rest of the pregnancy that we were having a boy, and he knew that I knew. I wasn't keeping from him that I found out. From then on, we found out, and it was girl, girl, girl. But we did pink icing cupcakes for grandparents. And we just showed up. They're like, have a cupcake. And they got a cupcake. It's a girl. And that was it. And we
Okay.
did that with our kids, too.
Last one I want to sneak in here because we got like 10 seconds. Paper straws. There you have it, everybody.
Oh,
the boomers
man.
were right all along. Paper straws are
the
stupid.
worst.
Take them and throw them away.
I want
all of them.
thick plastic straws. Yeah.
Yes, me too.
All right. Tyrus, Mike Bost in the next hour. Don't go away.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I know we're all busy. We're working, we're running errands, trying to take care of the kids. It's really easy to put things off. One thing you do not want to put off, though, your annual eye exam. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates not only gave me the most thorough eye exam I've ever had, but they're also experts in the diagnosis and treatment of all diseases of the eye. Everything from dry eye to macular degeneration and cataracts. Think about this. Your eye health is the window into your overall body health. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry, they can look at your eyes and even tell in some cases if you have early stage diabetes, heart disease, lung problems, even some forms of cancer. They're called the doctors' doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors. The best part about this is that most insurance plans cover the cost of your annual eye exam. Set up your appointment today, 314-966-5000. Again, 314-966-5000, or go to youridoc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
They're taking it very seriously. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from Secretary of State Antony Blinken about a national security threat being described by sources as an emerging Russian capability to target satellites with a space-based weapon. Key lawmakers getting a briefing today as one pushes for information to be made public.
And the question of declassifying material around it hinges on U.S. interests in protecting intelligence methods and sources. But the Intelligence Committee chairman in the House didn't want to wait. Mike Turner alerted Congress and the public to some information about its existence yesterday.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Police say it wasn't terrorism that led to gunfire after a parade for the Super Bowl champions.
Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves says the incident that took the life of a mom of two and hurt 22 others
appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire.
The chief added that half the victims were under the age of 16. Juveniles are among those who have been detained and others are being sought. Mayor Quinton Lucas was asked if he will rethink having these parades. He essentially said no.
We have a plan for a St. Patrick's Day parade in Kansas City. We have parades all the time. I don't think they'll end.
He did say there are challenges in keeping celebrations safe, and his city will learn from this.
Fox's Kunal Scott. Former President Trump is now scheduled to stand trial March 25th in a hush money-related case in New York.
This will mark the first criminal trial ever involving a former U.S. president. It's expected to take 6 weeks. As the former president left the courthouse, he took issue with the trial and the timeline of it all, saying this is political interference.
Fox's Nate Foy outside the courthouse where the judge denied a motion to dismiss the case. The defense arguing they've been busy preparing for a federal trial that was supposed to happen first but is now postponed. In the New York case, the former president is accused of falsifying business records and denies it. America is listening to Fox News.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
We're going to start to see a slow drop in temperature going through the afternoon. Lots of clouds around tonight, 32. Friday, a mix of snow, sleet, and rain in the morning. 1, maybe 2 inches St. Louis north, and then a light rain during the afternoon, but a little snow could even mix in there. 35 for the high. Flurries Friday night down to 22. Saturday, sunny 34. Sunday, sunny 49. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Let us know how your local first responders are positively serving your community, and let us feed them. It's the Mark Cox Morning Show's Feed Our First Responders campaign. Compliments of Grill Master Tony's Barbecue. Go to 971talk.com/contests to nominate your department today.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-291-1017. 800-291-1017. Again, that's 800-291-1017. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
You know, have you heard all the talk about energy efficiency
as far as gas appliances and electric and heat pumps and eliminating certain furnaces, certain air conditioners, now stoves. If you're in the market for a furnace and air conditioner this year and just want to cut through all the confusion and would like to talk with and discuss what's the differences between the products and just an overall common sense approach to what do you need for your house, what works, what won't work, what fits in your budget, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, the only number and an easy one. 314-293-2600 or online bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B and Inman with an I.com. God bless.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
The Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday. We are grateful that you're here with us this afternoon. We just got done speaking with Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation about the Fani Willis trial. Nathan Wade been on the stand. I find all of the legal stuff facing, honestly, both lead candidates for the presidency come November to be very confusing. There's so many questions surrounding even why these things are being prosecuted. And I really feel like the electorate out there can potentially, as we move towards the election, get kind of tired, weary of all of these questions surrounding these two potential nominees. But yet, they're likely going to be the nominees. So we ask ourselves, what is it that is going to shift people who are super anti-Trump and super pro-Trump to decide this election? Let's ask our friend Tyrus.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
He is the host of Maintaining with Tyrus on Outkick. Also, he has a Fox Nation special, Tyrus Here and Now, which is a stand-up special that you should absolutely check out. A regular on Gutfeld and a regular on the Annie Frey Show. Tyrus, welcome back.
Hey, always a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. How do you comb through all of the legal challenges facing these two candidates for the presidency?
Oh, I don't comb at all. No combing, no brushing. Focus on what's in front of me. Focus on my family, myself, keeping my household good, and just let the chips fall when they may. I know the way I'm voting is based off my family and my tax bracket, so whatever trumped up, pardon the pun, charges they have out there, I'll continue to vote accordingly.
Do you feel like Donald Trump is getting a fair shake, or do you feel that the fact that he's Republican and he's Donald Trump, that he's being overly prosecuted for things that other people, should they have done the same thing, wouldn't be charged for?
Well, I think he's showing how popular he is. I think he's showing how much afraid the other side is that they're going to lose. So they can come at him whatever he wants, but that doesn't dissuade people who believe in him, who have benefited under his previous presidency and don't really care about all the noise. So that stuff only affects you if you want it to affect you, because if you look at it now, no one from the extreme left or progressive or MSNBC is going to change your mind about what your core values are.
Yeah. I if you shift gears over to the side of Joe Biden. Both Biden and Trump have these legal challenges facing them based on their possession of classified documents. So a little bit of an interesting detail came out. Here's a report from NBC.
President Biden became heated, you'll remember, responding to the special counsel's assertion that he could not remember within several years when his son Beau died. Last week, the president criticized her for asking him about it.
How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business.
But tonight, NBC News has learned that Hur never asked that question, according to two people familiar with the interview last fall. They say it was the president, not Hur or his team, who first introduced Beau Biden's death. The sources say the president got the date, May 30th, correct, but not the year.
So when you hear, Tyrus, that the president's mind is not functioning at the capacity that it should be for the presidency of the United States, I think it broadens the questions that you have about his fitness to do the job. But he's also facing these legal challenges regarding the possession of these classified documents. And then the report comes out and says that he's not fit to stand trial. How do you put all of those things together in the same thought and know that he's still the leading candidate for the Democrats for the presidency in November?
Well, and he can be, because all this does has cemented me personally, when I make a voting choice, that anyone who would support who is a medical situation wouldn't get a vote for me. So all that report did was only convince me even further not to vote for Joe Biden. I think at this point, we have to stop looking to the media for what we would grow up accustomed to, facts, and here's the story, make your own decision from it. That clearly is not it. What they're trying to do, you can always tell when the media comes out with a whataboutism or, well, the other guy did it too, that means that everything you saw is exactly what you saw. Because they would love to dispute it if they had any evidence to do so. Biden probably did bring up his son. 1,000% he probably did. That's what happens, unfortunately. When people get to that age and they have, unfortunately, deterioration kicks in. And again, everyone's number is different. Your number is different than mine.
Yeah.
Yours might be 56. It could be 97 if I'm lucky. I don't know. But there comes a time when your body starts to, you start to, quote, pay the bill for the life you led. And clearly, President Biden is paying that bill. So anyone who votes for him based off of anything he says, you're lying to yourself. You know it. No one's voting for Biden. They're voting the opposition of Trump. So if you're comfortable with making a vote based off of information from opinions from people who want to see things one way, then you're going to have to, just reap what you sow. But me, I focus on what's important for me and my family, and doing what's right for your family is enough for me to sleep at night.
We're speaking with Tyrus. Of course, you know him from Fox News, and I want you to make sure you know about his new show that he has on Outkick. It's called Maintaining with Tyrus. You've expanded a lot of what you've been doing at Fox News, Tyrus. Of course, we see you on Gutfeld, and we see you make your Fox News contributing hits on other shows, but you've started doing this thing with Outkick, which is a partner of Fox News, and you've got your streaming special, stand-up special on Fox Nation. What kind of direction are you trying to take what you're able to do with that spotlight in the camera with the guests that you bring on?
I'm trying to build up the most I possibly can so that retirement party comes sooner. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
so get it. I'm getting it all in now. I'm looking at the wall, and I'm like, I'm just gonna roll up the sleeves and get as much work as I can, build as much as I can, so I can pull that retirement cord and float off to obscurity. A nice rotator phone in the Midwest somewhere.
All right.
Maybe raise some mini bulls. I don't know. The future's going to be mine. What I do know it's not going to be is going to be listening to this type of stuff for the rest of my life. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, man, you're going to do that for the rest of your life. No, I see the window. So I am every opportunity I get to build the brand and get it ready for retirement, I jump all over it. So,
I've read your first book, Just Tyrus, and you've got your new book out right now, Nuff Said. So I know a bit about where you've come from and what you've gone through. Some people who haven't yet read Just Tyrus, go get it, might not understand the various paths that your life has taken. You're kind of like a tumbleweed in some regards, but you've also had a lot of intention. How do you feel about where you are right now based on all of the different experiences that you've had so far?
When I look where I'm at right now, all my kids are thriving. There's no what bill we not paying this month attitude around me right now, which is nice. When I look at in terms of just staying the course, never accepting no, and just working hard. I always believe hard work always pays off. It might not be the direction you think or the way you think it's going to go, but if your effort is always the next level, good things happen. So I couldn't be happier where I'm at right now in life because I'm setting it up to where the people that depend on me don't have to depend on me as much going forward. So I think that's all a dad really wants, a father or a husband really wants, is to be able to be in a position to where the people that he takes care of and protects and loves and provides for are in good, great space. And I mean, you don't want them spoiled or lazy, but you also don't want them to have a lot of the pressures that are going on in this country, where a lot of dads are going to sleep at night with one eye open because they can't rest well because they're trying to think, how am I going to keep food on the table? How am I going to keep the lights on? So I'm not in that situation, thank God. But so anytime, and it can happen like that. I'm one bad joke away from being done with all this. So and that's I thrive on that pressure, but I'm enjoying the process right now.
You know, Tyrus, what it sounds like to me is that you've got a very clear set of perspective and priorities so that you know why you're doing what you're doing, and it doesn't control you, you control it. But it's not a luxury that everybody has, which is where politics comes in. And I think for you, for me, for people who, feed their family based on their attention to the news cycle, it can sometimes get a little inverted and upside down. If you have this clear set of priorities in front of you and you know why you're doing what you're doing, what is your advice to people who do find themselves getting a little too wrapped up in the play-by-play of the kind of salacious part of politics?
I think the biggest thing is you have to watch stuff you disagree with. You have to investigate the other side to give you some perspective, because a lot of times, the echo chamber, if you get caught up in the echo chamber too much, you end up just as bad as some of the extremes. So the biggest thing is to educate yourself, to know where it's, when you see something on the news or somebody makes a report, you have the ability to go, okay, that's the headline, but what's the real story? And take the time to do that. Also know, set limits. When I'm home for the weekend, my phone's in my truck. I'm done. I'm not looking at anything. I'm focused on family times. Whatever's waiting can wait till Monday. And I need to know this stuff to make my living. So if I'm able to just say, hey, it's the weekend, I'm not going to focus on stuff outside my home. I'm going to focus on things in my home, the people around my home, activities, enjoying time with my family, stuff like that. You still have to take time for yourself. You have to be a little selfish. Maybe if you're watching news, let's say you're watching the news stream, let's say you're watching it 6 hours a day, that's a lot. I think most of us can get it in about an hour. Try 10 p.m. Eastern to 11 Monday through Friday to get that good hour in.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, just take it as you go, but prioritize. Don't let things outside your house become bigger issues than what's in your house, because then being paranoid about stuff you can't control really hurts the stuff that you can control. So still make time for your family and friends and yourself.
Yeah. My 7-year-old daughter said to me a couple nights ago, she said, Mom, I had just gotten home, it's like 7:30 at night, and I'm getting ready to sit down for the first time that day. And she just looks at me from the kitchen. She goes, Mom, I'd rather watch you play Fortnite than watch the news. I was like, oh, you're killing me, kid.
Because you're not good at Fortnite.
I'm not bad at Fortnite. I'll beat you at Fortnite. Are you good at Fortnite?
What? Yeah, I'm a master. I got more crowns than royalty.
I need a
I have an assassin team. I've got 3 cold-blooded assassins that I roll with on Fortnite. My 9-year-old, my 12-year-old. You don't want to mess with us.
I have a 14-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl, and I think the 11-year-old girl could sometimes beat. She's pretty good too.
The 9-year-old Georgie, when she gets the hammer.
Oh, I believe that.
God help you all.
Man, we'll have to squad up sometime and.
Oh yeah, we'll have to definitely do that. We even have headsets. We all sit together.
Yeah.
We sit in a circle.
Yeah. That's family bonding time, man. That
Oh,
matters.
hey, there's nothing better than doing the celebratory crown dance.
I know what you mean. I know you get that victory royale. All right.
Yep.
Well, Tyrus,
yeah.
it might have to happen. It might be the most effective and important thing that you and I ever partner up on. There you go.
Yeah. Well, at least as far as our inner circle is concerned.
Yes. Yeah.
But here's the thing. The only thing is that I will do everything not to be the guy to make a mistake. Because
you don't want to be bullied by your kids.
My own children have, and we first started playing, because I'm a Madden guy, basketball, 2K guy. When I first jump on with them, they would literally be like, Dad, stay in the building.
Don't move.
I'd be like, no, I'm going out. They're like, stay in the building.
Don't ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
Give
man.
me your weapons. Like, they would do that to me.
Tyrus, you need a Fortnite skin. You need to be in Fortnite.
Yeah, that I definitely would be, because what I ended up doing was locking myself in my hotel room one work and playing 12 hours of Fortnite in a montage to be able to prove myself worthy to my children. Those are the real issues we got to worry about, America. We got to prove ourselves worthy to play a video game with our children. So
that's right.
But make sure you're playing with them, because it is dangerous out there.
Amen.
That's one night.
Yep. We do the same thing. That's why I learned to play, because they wanted to play, and I said the only way you're doing it is under supervision. So I have to. I think the phrase is get cracked at it so that I can. I'm just embarrassed.
Oh my gosh!
Because there's nothing worse than your
right?
kid like, oh, Dad's on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
All right, Tyrus. I mean, we might follow up on this. This is pretty fun.
We will definitely follow up on this.
Thank you for being with us, as always. There's a million places people can check you out, and they need to do that to help your retirement plan. So
yes, ma'am.
Make it so. Tyrus, we'll talk to you again next week. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye. Oh man. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a. I don't know that anyone will know about it, but it might happen that there's a Tyrus family versus the Frey family. We'll see. We're going to take a quick break and hope to connect to Congressman Mike Bost. Are they voting?
Yeah, they changed the schedule. Now he has to vote, so he's not going to be able to join us.
Not today?
Not today.
Okay. Well, we'll reconnect. I know is he still going to be in studio next week?
That's the plan.
Okay. Well, we will have him in studio for a couple segments, which I'm excited about, because he is going to answer questions from y'all as well. We scheduled him for the next segment, and then do you know what vote they're taking?
I did not get that information.
Yeah.
They just said the votes went long, and now he's not able to
That's
make
the nature of the beast when you're in the afternoon, as we are, and we understand that. But we will connect with Congressman Mike Bost next week in studio. Get Ryan Wiggins back in here and extend the conversation on the Annie Frey Show. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
3 weeks, that would be cool with me. Well, I'm still imagining a dark lit place.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I seem to be struck by you. I wanna make you move because you're standing still.
So hearing him talk about wanting to get towards retirement and putting all the work in right now, if you're in that place where you were just grinding it out right now to save, you're probably not on the doorstep quite yet of retirement. For those of you who are, for those of you who know that it is upon you, you want to make sure that you make a very smart and free phone call to the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494. That's the line to reach Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisory Group. And you're going to be able to find yourself in a no obligation. You sit down with them. There's nothing you're going to have to do after you listen to what they say, the questions that they ask you, to learn a little bit about you. It's free to have the appointment, and you don't have to commit to anything when you leave or at any time. You can make the decision for yourself, and that's really what Smart Retirement is about. Now, if you are looking for a personalized structured income plan, if you are looking for the exhale that comes from the confidence, knowing that retirement is set up for you, you've done what you need to do, you know what's going to happen, you don't have any fear because you don't have the unknown, they're waiting for your phone call. 314-993-9494, or find them online at retirementkey.com.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 300 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 300. LUME deodorant.com, code 300 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 300 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. LUME deodorant.com, code 300.
Life is challenging and ever-changing, so take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how, learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com for our special offer. A financial freedom membership for only $297. That's 60% off the regular price. Enter promo code 2024. Learn to retire through real estate investing from the best. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Learn the path to retiring at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Thursday afternoon, the very latest on the shooting at the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Also, former border agent and supervisor Chris Clem.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So the YouTube live chat poll for today. Will the Democrat ticket in November be Biden-Harris? You've got 4 options. One is yes, Biden-Harris it is. One is no Biden, one is no Harris, and one is neither of them. And I peeked at the results, and 3 of them are very close. So please go cast your vote in the live chat of the Annie Frey YouTube live broadcast right now. I'll read you a couple of the comments here. Vicky says, as of today, I now say Biden-Harris. I think they will prop him up as long as they can, but so much can change between now and the DNC convention in August. Russell says, yes, Biden-Harris is what I think today, but things can change and both may not be on the Democratic ticket when all is said and done. Who knows? Chris says, neither. I don't think Biden will be on the ticket and nobody can stand Harris. You know, I think that it's important to remember that the asset that Joe Biden was and is, in my opinion, in my observation, is that he is malleable. He seems to be willing to be agreeable to what, in my opinion, that I don't have, I guess, evidence that says this specifically, but my assumption is that he is being managed, that the president of the United States is being managed. Fair assumption?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any possibility that everything that's going on from the White House is Joe Biden's and Joe Biden's alone?
No, I don't think there's any possibility that he is leading the charge on everything.
Or anything.
Yeah.
I think he could be leading on some things, but
there's too many times when he's come out and said something and then the White House has had to walk it back. He's not saying it on accident. He's just not in step with what the White House is doing. I would look
Which is ironic because he should be the White House.
He should be leading what the White House is doing. Absolutely. I look at the thing with Austin and how nobody knew what was going on. And the reason nobody knew what was going on, in my opinion, is
Lloyd
because
Austin.
Everybody's doing their own thing. And there's not a lot of communication going back to the White House because the White House doesn't need to know because they're not really doing anything with any of that. I look at it and that's what I see. I see disarray at the top because there's no communication at the top because you've got almost like a cabal of people handling different things.
I'm reading this for the first time right here, live breaking news. The Malmstrom Air Force Base went on lockdown this morning, in response to an active shooter alert on base. The base, which is located in Cascade County, Montana, went into a lockdown status just before 10:30 a.m. local time. The safety of our personnel is of the utmost priority, and updates will continue to come from official channels. At this time, it is advised to shelter in place, according to the base in a Facebook post. The Great Falls Police Department and the Cascade County Sheriff's Office were responding to the scene to provide assistance. Schools in the surrounding area were told to shelter in place. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte said his office has been in contact with General Ronek regarding the reports of an active shooter alert at the Malmstrom Air Force Base. I will continue to monitor the situation with the general. So that's happening. It's a lot of this. There was a lot more yesterday than the Kansas City shooting as well, which from my understanding, the latest news on that is that they still don't have, they have not charged. Yesterday, we were told very quickly that there were multiple people who were arrested, at least 2. But then I saw photographs of 3 individuals on Twitter last night. They have not charged any of those people. So we don't have details. I have seen reports that say that it was a dispute between 2 individuals that manifested itself in the middle of the Super Bowl parade. And then, of course, I've seen a lot of legislation proposals on Twitter over the course of the last 15 hours or so. So another breaking news alert for what is taking place in Montana. If anything develops from that, we will certainly update you there. When I look at the president, I don't see a leader. I see a figurehead, and I don't know how anybody can really advocate that Joe Biden has had what is the Biden Commission as the president. He's very focused on green energy, but none of this stuff really seems to be led from him. What he was served up to the American people to be in the 2020 election was the anti-Trump, nice guy, well-meaning, yes, elderly, but somebody who can relate to you, who knows you, who rides the train just like you, who's kind of a blue-collar type of guy, which is ironic because he's been in government for 50 years. That's what we were sold. Not really on a policy plan. It was enough to be anti-Trump, but it might still be, which is frightening. That's Pond on YouTube says, having said neither, I hope it's not Trump either. I think Biden-Harris might be the only Dems he could beat easily. I will, however, vote for Trump if the nominee. A lot of what happens in November, I think, really weighs on how many other opportunities voters have to vote for not Trump. If it is Trump versus Biden, Biden will fare better. If it's Trump versus RFK Jr. versus Biden versus whomever else, it is a much, much more difficult road for Joe Biden and the Democrats to traverse. NBC News reports Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia danced around his interest in launching a third-party presidential bid here Thursday in Cleveland, but he endorsed a potential running mate if he does. Do you know the story?
I have not heard this.
No.
Hypothetically, if I was picking my running mate, and of course, Joe Manchin is a Democrat serving in the Senate who is not running for re-election. Hypothetically, if I was picking my running mate, really who I would ask right now is Mitt Romney.
Surprise, surprise.
Oh, those guys are running.
Manchin said, identifying the Republican senator from Utah. Mitt Romney is also not running for re-election. Manchin also said he would consider former Senator Rob Portman, a Republican from Ohio, as a vice presidential pick. Rob's a dear friend of mine. What a good man, Manchin said. Manchin offered several pointed criticisms of President Joe Biden in an appearance at a City Club of Cleveland breakfast, part of his nationwide, quote, listening tour, end quote, end of quote, that followed his decision to not seek another Senate term. The tour, which included a stop last month in New Hampshire, ahead of that state's first in the nation presidential primary, has fueled speculation that Manchin might mount an independent or third-party campaign for president. He's been linked to the No Labels organization effort to field a bipartisan ticket. I hate the No Labels name. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It sounds off-label, off-brand. And so then I try to think to myself, if I were going to just like manifest a new party, what would I name it? And I don't know, but I wouldn't name it No Labels.
Forward Party.
Nope.
Two things. One.
What was his name? Is his
Andrew
name?
Yang.
Andrew Yang. I saw a Forward Party sign in somebody's yard the other day. Kid you not.
I wonder if they knew it was there.
Somebody like pranked them. Two things. One, I would love to see that listening tour because what I picture is Joe Manchin walking out on a stage and just kind of cupping his hand to his ear, not saying anything.
No, he's just saying.
Just standing there.
He just walks out and he's like, am I right?
Huh? Yeah.
Donald Trump, am
That's
I
it?
right?
Yeah, we can't really say nothing because we're on the radio, but that's literally what I'm picturing is him walking out, standing behind a podium, and saying nothing. And just going,
Hunter says, can we get 97.1 to send Wiggins on a nationwide listening tour? That would be so fun.
Yeah, that'd be fine. And I would do just that. I would do nothing but stand there and be like,
shh, I'm listening.
I'm listening. Tell me. And people just shout. And I go, okay.
I think that Manchin and Mitt Romney, I don't know anybody who likes Mitt Romney.
That was my number two, is that why would you put Mitt Romney on that ticket? He already ran for president as a Republican. I get putting a moderate Republican on the ticket with him.
Yeah, but not Mitt
why
Romney.
him?
Especially because Mitt Romney is every Democrat's favorite Republican, and Joe Manchin is every Republican's favorite Democrat. And guess what? Republicans aren't voting for Joe Manchin, and Democrats aren't voting for Mitt Romney.
Exactly.
It's only in contrast because Joe Manchin makes Democrats look bad, and Mitt Romney makes Republicans look bad.
Yeah.
That doesn't, in my mind, materialize in effective votes.
No, it's just sort of the we're not them. That's all they're saying.
Man, it's such an interesting theory here because you always hear the first party to the middle, the first party not to seem crazy will win. And everybody's like, we don't want crazy candidates. Now, we've got two crazy candidates. You got Joe Biden, who can't, remember anything, and you got Donald Trump, who is Donald Trump. So if you play this thought experiment out and you go, okay, well, we'll run Joe Manchin, who's not a crazy candidate. He seems to be a common-sense Democrat. And then you run Mitt Romney, who seems to be the Republican version of whatever Joe Manchin is. Nobody likes those people. What you'll end up with is two people running on a platform that nobody likes. So do people really want that middle-of-the-road candidate, or do they just want the other side to run a normal person so they can run their crazy person?
Any popularity that Manchin or Romney has is simply, more for Romney than Manchin, I believe. But those gentlemen are a means to an end to a point that fortifies their original parties. Mm-hmm. It's not like, you should be in charge of things. I'll read for you this. Adam Kinzinger said, if the choice comes down to Biden or Trump in 2024, the answer is easy. It's Biden.
Adam Kinzinger?
That's an older story. He says, I don't even have to hesitate. Do I agree with everything Joe Biden's doing? No, of course not. He's a Democrat. I'm an old school Republican, I'll say, but I believe he's a good man, and I believe he's focused on the Constitution. I believe he's not looking for reasons to violate the Constitution like Donald Trump is. I wouldn't hesitate it at all. Do you remember when that came out?
No.
Oh, I do.
No, when was that?
December 8th of last year. I remember that. But I mean, if you hear stories that if the headline is Kinzinger says he supports Biden over Trump, that's something that goes into my head and immediately, for my own sanity, goes way in the back of the file folder. Get it way out there because I don't want to even know it because it makes me mad.
Yeah. Basically everything he and Liz Cheney say look as if they're
TDS.
They're TDS, but they're like self-promotion opportunities. Because if they were to come out, it's just like if you come out with research that says, hey, we discovered that this food is healthy for you. It's the same as we've always told you. Eat your peas. Nobody's going to publish it. But if you come out and you go, oh, we discovered that actually peas are a carcinogen, like something that's way out of left field, you're going to get a lot of attention. And so that's all these two people do, is they just say things that are opposite of what you'd think they would do with the R next to their name. And then they promote themselves in the process.
This is another news update from Fox News just now, posted 11 minutes ago, and might illustrate a little bit why we're not talking to Congressman Bost right now. The House voted Thursday afternoon in favor of stripping the Biden administration's authority to permit natural gas export projects in a blow to the president's climate agenda. In a 224 to 200 vote, the House approved the so-called Unlocking Domestic LNG Potential Act. UDLP. Okay, that doesn't spell anything fun. Usually they do. With 215 Republicans and 9 Democrats voting in favor, Congressman Pfluger of Texas, who's a Republican, chairs the House Energy Action Team, according to the legislation on February 1st, arguing that it would ultimately overturn President Biden's recent actions pausing permits for new LNG export projects. He told Fox News Digital just last year, President Biden told the Europeans that they needed to get off Russian gas and that the U.S. would supply their liquid natural gas needs. Now that it is an election year, he's reneging on that deal to appease his radical climate base. 2/3 of the world's natural gas is produced in 4 countries: Russia, Iran, United States, and Qatar. This effective ban on U.S. LNG exports is a gift to Putin and the Iranian regime that just killed 3 service members with their weapons to the Houthis. I am proud to stand up for the American jobs when the president seems to only stand up for the interests of Russia and Iran. Man. Vladimir Putin has to be popping popcorn all day. Like, in my mind, he's eating popcorn and popcorn is flying everywhere, watching America tie themselves in political knots over proximity to Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, over basic stuff, too. I mean, this isn't deep political stuff. That is basic warfare.
And not, in the meantime, not focusing on obvious, horrendous issues that are facing the United States in a real, immediate fashion. Nope. We got to use the Russia card, the Putin card. And I'm not even saying that, I know Tucker Carlson and his interview with Vladimir Putin has caused a lot of people to take a second look at Russia and Putin. And you could take a second look at anything and feel even more confirmed in what your first look was. So you take a second look at something, that doesn't mean that you're taking an obvious alternate perspective than what you were exposed to at first. But it's so disappointing, I think is the right word, to watch politicians on both sides of the aisle just constantly try to manipulate how the American voter feels for like 30 minutes.
Yes.
I mean, that's what you get out of it.
That's exactly what it is. They're just trying to manipulate the way you feel about it.
And every day, the Republicans have to come out and make sure that they remind you to be angry and disgusted with Democrats. That's what they think. And the Democrats have to come out and remind you how disgusted you are with Donald Trump, which is why he's the Republican Party, because they've made him that. Have you had your daily dose today of disgust for the people on the other side? And in the meantime, not a dang thing is getting done.
Well, I would give them credit for this.
Yes, true.
Because this is something that they did, and it sounds like it was somewhat bipartisan. At least some Democrats heard it and said, yeah, that makes sense. We should not be using Russian natural gas. Let's use our own natural gas. We're one of the top 4 producers in the world. Let's use our own. This is basic stuff that your government should be doing, but they just grandstand. That's all they do.
Because it's all about politics. The end, the means is what they say and try to evoke in your emotions, and the end is how you vote. And then the next end is the next election. And everything in between is just noise. But everything in between is the substance. It has to be the substance. We have to put them back on their heels so that they remember that they are representing us. And like Ryan said in the article that I thought was important to read to you, that it's good to see that the Republicans took action in this for good cause. But there was also Democrats. What did I say? 9 Democrats that voted with them. Good.
Yeah, good.
This is the most bipartisan thing to come out of the House in a long time.
Hey, you know what? Let's send it to the Senate and have them vote 2/3 majority. Then we don't even have to worry about the White House.
But I don't even know if this is power of the purse thing. I don't know that this is something that goes to the Senate. If it's a spending thing.
Oh, okay, good.
I will look into that.
Yeah.
I read it live. We got to go to a break. The YouTube live chat poll, will the Democrat ticket in November be Biden-Harris? Yes, no Biden, no Harris, or neither of them? Let's read some more of your responses before we go to a quick break here because I want to spend a little more time with Willie Nelson. Andy said, yes, they've circled the wagons now. They will protect him this campaign, and even though everyone will know he isn't at all in control, they'll push on with him. They've grown arrogant with power. Yeah. Well said, Andy. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
If you're thinking about buying a home or maybe selling yours, call my personal realtor, Becky O'Neill. Kim St. Ange here. Becky has over 20 years of experience, and she's helped my family buy and sell multiple homes over the years. She gave us this advice that got our offer accepted on our current home during a bidding war, even though it was $10,000 less than other offers. So if you're looking to sell, she can suggest simple changes that will bring a big return. Call Becky O'Neill today, 636-326-2290, or go to BeckyO'Neill.com. FreySpeech.com.
Will the Democrat ticket in November be Biden-Harris? Your options are yes, no Biden, no Harris, or neither. Those are your 4. It's the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll of the day. Will the Democrat ticket in November be Biden-Harris? 149. Right now, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream.
Well, I went down to the Grundy County auction where I saw something I just had to have. My mind told me I should proceed with caution, but my heart said go ahead and make a bid on that. And I said, hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine on mine. I'll do your bid.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We don't have a ton of time right here, but I came across this. This is so wild. Did you watch the video of the Howie Mandel thing?
I did.
So you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Howie Mandel and
I
Dana
saw
White?
just enough of it to know what you're talking about.
But you didn't watch the.
I didn't watch like the whole
clip.
thing.
Well, there's not a lot.
Well, I guess that's. Yeah.
I'm going to play this clip for you. Howie Mandel is welcoming Dana White onto his podcast. Did I know that Howie Mandel had a podcast? I did not. Listen to Howie Mandel's voice and tone when he's welcoming Dana White, who is super outspoken about being anti-woke. He's had fighters in, UFC, that have said some less than supportive things of the LGBTQ community. And then Dana White was asked, like, you going to allow them to talk that way? And he's like, I don't get to tell anybody what they get to say. What do you think this is? So he didn't come out and be like, the fighter is wrong, and I love the LGBTQ community, and they're very important. And he didn't do the tap dance that a lot of people do in that moment. And he pushed back on, like, how dare you suggest that I, as a human, have a right to dictate what another human has to say? Free speech and all. So, and then who is Dana White's friend?
Trump.
Cardinal Sin, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I hate when people say right. Here's Howie Mandel, who I can't imagine is like a super Trumper.
Yeah, you don't get that sense. He seems to lean left at least.
Having Dana White onto his show and then Dana White's reaction. Listen to this.
Dana White, you are an amazing guy. I can't thank you enough for being here. You and Ginger seem to be getting along. You are not only an amazing businessman, you are an inspiration. You are a philosopher. The way you do business, the way you conduct your business and your friendships and media is I'm jealous. But Dana, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. I am so tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.
And then he left. He gets up. Dana White gets up and he leaves. Do you think Howie Mandel was being honest and sincere?
I do. I don't think he was trying to be sarcastic in saying those things. I mean, I think he was fawning over a little bit just because he's kind of a comedian. But
fawning.
He's fawning, Willis. But I don't get the sense that he was making fun of him there at all. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Brad?
I don't think that he was making fun of him. I think Dana White is just done.
I don't get why he shows up, though, at a podcast and then goes, well, I'm not going to do any podcasts.
We have been in media long enough that you know that there are things that happen before, things that have happened, not even necessarily in your presence, but there can be context and somebody comes on the air and it happens that as it materializes, sometimes it goes a different direction. I haven't had any of those instances dramatically in my career, but I've seen it happen. And can we cue this up? We need to get to that. And when the context is off the air and it comes on the air, you can still hear it if you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened before that. But Howie Mandel sounded to me Like, he thought Dana White was the worst person to walk the face of the planet.
Really?
Oh, my gosh.
Man,
yes.
I just did not get that from him in that clip. And then again, it would have to be, you're right, it would have to be something that had happened before they started talking. Because it doesn't make any sense that everything was fine. And then he starts saying, okay, I'm going to introduce you. And he's talking about all these things that he is. And maybe Dana White takes it the wrong way. I don't know. Again, I don't think that Howie Mandel was trying to do anything mean-spirited there. But it had to have taken place before they started talking for him to come on the air and then go, I'm not going to talk to you. Unless it was a stunt, which I am seeing people suggest that it was all planned because they were trying to get us some attention.
Fonnie Willis is it looks like, did she take the stand?
Wow.
Now what are they doing? Let's listen in.
She took the stand.
Let's listen in. This is happening right now in Atlanta.
Just a moment, Ms. Willis. So, Ms. Cross, I don't know if you want to speak with Ms. Willis now. It's sounding like maybe they're withdrawing the objection to the motion.
I believe the motion to...
Or does Ms. Willis want to take the lead here?
We'll withdraw the motion to quash Ms. Willis. Based on the... I'm ready to go.
Okay, so the position of the district attorney at this point is that she's no longer contesting the subpoena. Ms. Merchant has called her as the next witness.
I would ask, I need 3 documents in front of me, and they're the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant. 3 filings.
So this is Fonnie Willis at the witness stand, correct?
Yes. And she just entered the room.
Right. You know what? Let's pause it right here because she's not going to testify right in this moment, but things are materializing here. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, if she's testifying, we're going to let you listen to that line of questioning here on the Annie Frey Show. We will be covering this as it continues to develop. It sounded like they subpoenaed her and she's no longer contesting it so that she will be the next witness they hear.
Yeah.
Let's listen in. Don't go away. We'll have all the news for you when we come back.
Well, February, of course, is the month for love. And when is the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserved? Have you gotten down on your hands and knees and adored how clean and refreshed it was? You probably haven't done that. I do not recommend that. Do this instead because your carpet is likely one of the biggest investments in your home. It's also the biggest air filter in your home. Let's clean it professionally with the help of my friends at Zero Res. And lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their Love Their Rug special during the month of February. Take advantage. Call 314-474-2020. Go online, ZeroResSTL.com. Take advantage of a great offer. 3 rooms professionally cleaned, zero resified, as we like to say, starting at $119 plus a free hallway thrown in during the month of February. Let's not forget about the air ducts. During the month of February, take $50 off your air duct cleaning package when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. It's super easy to make the appointment. Call Zero Res. They have tech all over the St. Louis region. 314-474-2020. Online, ZeroResSTL.com. Mention my name, Mark Reardon, or 97.1 FM Talk. Get the February deal. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation. Because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Former pro football offensive tackle Mitch Schwartz knows for a guy, buying jewelry is a daunting task at most stores, but not if you go to Diamonds Direct.
It's very simple and very easy process for a guy to go in there and not be overwhelmed.
Mitch found Diamonds Direct and has been back many times buying jewelry for his wife, Brooke, and he's never felt any pressure.
They're going to educate you about what you're looking for, what the diamonds are, how the process works.
At Diamonds Direct, we respect both you and your budget.
I think everyone's kind of searching for value. You don't want to be taken advantage of, and Diamonds Direct is leading in that regard. You're going to feel really comfortable there. You're going to have a good time. You're going to find something that looks amazing and that you're going to get the best value for it.
So if you're worried about getting sweaty palms when you walk into a jewelry store, relax. Take Mitch's advice and enjoy the experience at Diamonds Direct.
We have definitely recommended Diamonds Direct to friends, to other teammates. Everyone else who has been through there has had as awesome an experience as we have.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Reassurance from the White House on Lisa Brady, Fox News. A day after a national security threat came to light.
We've been closely monitoring this Russian activity, and we will continue to take it very seriously.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby just confirming the threat does relate to anti-satellite capability that Russia is developing, but he says it has not been deployed.
And though Russia's pursuit of this particular capability is troubling, there is no immediate threat to anyone's safety. We are not talking about a weapon that can be used to attack human beings or cause physical destruction here on Earth.
Kirby also says the intelligence community has concerns about a broad declassification of the intelligence, also saying private rather than public engagement on that could be more effective. This after a top House Republican first raised the issue publicly yesterday. Several House committee leaders are getting a closed-door briefing today. The White House also says it has no intention of violating an outer space treaty that dates back to 1967 and will engage with Russia and allies on that. Police say the shooting that left one dead and 22 injured after the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City yesterday appears to have stemmed from a dispute between several people and not terrorism. A lot of the injured are children.
The 22 victims' age range between 8 years old and 47 years old. At least half of our victims are under the age of 16.
Police Chief Stacey Graves says 2 of the 3 people detained are also juveniles. 2 of the suspects in a recent assault on New York City police officers are linked to a violent gang in Venezuela. An Immigration and Customs Enforcement spokesperson says both suspects are in the U.S. illegally and have been identified as members of a transnational criminal organization. Those 2 are held without bond. America is listening to Fox News.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic. Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We're going to start to see a slow drop in temperature going through the afternoon. Lots of clouds around tonight, 32. Friday, a mix of snow, sleet, and rain in the morning. 1, maybe 2 inches St. Louis north, and then a light rain during the afternoon, but a little snow could even mix in there. 35 for the high. Flurries Friday night down to 22. Saturday, sunny 34. Sunday, sunny 49. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get when you work with my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Mark Cox here. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. That's why having an expert on your side is crucial. Right now, other agents know that some sellers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price. This can be a dangerous strategy. Most of the time, it ends up being an empty promise. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. She makes guarantees in writing. It's simple. Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame or she'll buy it. Guaranteed in writing. Take it from me. Pick up the phone and call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit her online anytime and tell her you heard Mark Cox talking about it. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or them levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
This is where real local and national accountability happens. This is 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Or what personal and romantic is later. When I ask you personal, do you take that to mean romantic? Yes. Okay. And do you understand it that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her? Yes.
So there was a witness from earlier today that said that the relationship between Fonnie Willis and Nathan Wade started in 2019. And then we heard a little bit later this special prosecutor.
But you did travel with Miss Willis in 2023.
Talking to
correct?
Nathan Wade.
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2022, correct?
I did.
And you traveled with her in 2021, correct?
No.
So you only traveled with her in 2022 and 2023?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
That's what you recall?
Yes.
Okay. So you just don't remember if you traveled with her in 2021?
2022 and 2023 is what I recall.
Is what you recall. My question is, did you travel with her in 2021?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So it's not yes or no, you just don't remember?
I'm not recalling any travel in 2021.
So the memory got a little fuzzy in 2021. I don't know why. What happened then?
I see what you did there.
The Georgia District Attorney for Fulton County, Fonnie Willis, this is happening now, right? Has just taken the witness stand, and this is hugely impactful on the trial that Donald Trump is facing in Fulton County. Let's listen from the beginning.
You swear on front of
Yes, sir. District Attorney Fani, Fani. Last name is Willis.
Ms. Willis, how did you know to come into the courtroom right then?
There were people, I was pacing in my office.
Okay.
And I heard someone yell, his testimony is done. It only made sense to me that I would be your next witness. And I've been very anxious to have this conversation with you today. So I ran to the courtroom.
So as soon as you heard that Mr. Wade was done testifying, that's when you just assumed you would be the next witness?
It only makes sense.
Did you listen to any of the testimony?
I've been in my office pacing, ma'am.
Okay. Did you listen to any of the arguments?
I did hear the arguments this morning. It's ridiculous to me that you lied on Monday, and yet here we still are. And I did listen to that argument.
All right, so that was it, just the argument, no testimony.
Right, I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued, but since it did, here I am.
Great. So let's just talk about what you did in preparation for today. Did you meet with Mr. Wade at all? Once the motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On this first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman. Me, not so much.
Okay, but my question was, did you have a conversation with him?
I didn't have a substantive conversation.
You did not?
I read this motion, skimmed it more up, and I've probably said some choice things to him about some of the lies they were told.
Okay.
And then printed in the media because, we used to be in a day and time where you had 60 Minutes and people did stories and they verified information and you had this great reporting. But it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see.
Well, I just want to make sure that you answer the question I asked, though. So my question was...
Overruled, Mr. Abadi.
I told you what happened. I read the motion. I am sure I told him what my opinion of it is.
Okay.
And past that, we had no substantive conversation.
You did not? Okay.
Is there something you didn't understand?
No, I just wanted to make sure that you did not have a meeting with him in the conference room to discuss the motion.
Right, next question, Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office within this week, you produced some financial document. That financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure who was giving it to him by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he showed me a document in our conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is substantive related to this.
Okay.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? Things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Okay. Let's start back in 2019.
Yep.
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. Okay. And I think in one of your motions you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive. I stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up. I think they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. We kind of thought that when you asked the question, you were going to answer the question, not a speech, so I object to the speech.
I agree. I'm able to explain my answers.
I believe she's able to explain her answers.
And that's
Ms. Merchant, that's okay. I can handle it. Ms. Willis, I'll ask you just listen to the question, and keep the answers confined to the question as best you can. I think you'll have more than enough ample opportunity on when the state is able to
it's highly offensive when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
All right. Well, Ms. Willis, you'll have the opportunity to explain all of that when it's the state's turn to ask more open-ended questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Merchant.
Thank you, Judge. So again, my question was, you all met at that conference, though, right?
We did. The meeting,
Okay.
he, as I stated, he taught the class. I did not actually meet him when he taught the class. I walked out of the class, and I'm not sure if it was that exact class or we had went to lunch, but we were standing in the vestibule, like outside of the class. Me and Judge Reeves were having a conversation. She had worked at a law firm I worked at back in 1996.
We're getting way afar. I mean, I don't mind her explaining her answers, but I literally just asked if they met at that
She's
conference.
explaining how she met Mr. Wade, which was exactly the question asked by Ms. Merchant. These answers are more than appropriate.
Ms. Merchant, if you want more concise answers, perhaps you could lead the witness.
I will. Thank you, Judge. Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade October 2019 at the Judges
We
Conference?
haven't gotten to the point where Ms. Willis should be treated hostile in this situation.
I think we
And
have.
I very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Ms. Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
All right, let's
Judge,
proceed.
I would just ask that
We can keep things moving. Ms.
Thank
Merchant,
you.
next question,
Thank you.
please.
Okay, so we've confirmed when you met. After that, isn't it true?
No, I need to explain this, and I think I get to explain my answers. When I met him, Judge Reeves introduced us. He handed me his business card. I'm unsure if I handed him my business card, but we exchanged information. He said, if you ever need any help, give me a call. And he walked to the parking lot.
So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
A lie. That's one of your lies.
Okay. Do you know Robin Yurdy?
I know her as Robin Bryant. I knew her. So Robin did not go to my college. She went to the college of, I went to Howard University. She went to Morgan State. I met her through some people I knew. In college, we hung out a bit. Not much because she was in Baltimore and I was in Washington, D.C., but we hung out a bit. After college, I lost contact with her. I probably didn't see Robin again until maybe 7 or 8 years ago, a chance meeting here in Atlanta, but we did not have a consistent relationship from when I left college and came to Emory Law School here in Atlanta. But 8 to 10 years ago, just by happenstance, I ran into her.
So
she was in Atlanta.
You have been friends with Robin for 30-something years.
Did you hear my answer, madam?
Yes, and I'm asking if you've been friends with her for 30-something years.
I've known her for 30-something years. We certainly hung out and partied together in college. She was from the D.C. area. She would come home, we'd party together. Wasn't close, but she was certainly in the girlfriends that partied together. And then, like I said, I ran into her about 10 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But we didn't talk throughout that time period. I didn't see her. I didn't even know where she was. When I ran into her, I was surprised she was in Atlanta. And so, yes, I have known her probably since 1990, 1991, but we have not maintained a consistent relationship that whole time.
For the last 10 years or 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as, have you been friends with her?
I have not spoken to Robin in over a year. I certainly do not consider her a friend now. I think that she, there's a saying, no good deed goes unpunished, and I think that she betrayed our friendship.
So let's narrow it down, the timeline now. So my questions are going to be from the time period of 2019 until she no longer was employed for you, the last time you all talked. So all of my next questions are just focused on that time frame, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Up until she left your office.
Yes, ma'am.
During 2019, you all were friends, correct?
Yes, we knew each other in 2019.
During 2020, you all were friends, correct?
We were friends during that time period.
During 2021, you all were friends, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And such good friends that when you needed a place to stay, you asked her if you could take over her lease.
That's a lie.
You did not move into her apartment?
I did, but that's not the way you characterize it is wrong.
I asked if you could take over her lease.
I did not ask if I could take over her lease.
Did you move into her apartment?
I moved into her condo in April of 21. The circumstances around that were that Robin met her husband. They wanted to move into another and separate place. She wanted to get rid of her condo. My father was living with me at the house. Because of this case and because of my stance on gangs, my life was being threatened regularly. My father urged me to leave our home. At the same time, as luck would have it, Robin wanted to give up her lease because she wanted to move in with this new man she met, who eventually became her husband. And so, as life circumstances worked, my dad was begging me to leave the house. He was afraid for me, afraid for his grandchildren. She wanted someone to take over her lease so that she didn't, have to pay a fee or get abandoned. And so, I don't remember when, but probably March or April of 21, I moved in and take over her lease.
And did you pay her or did you pay the leasing agent?
No, I don't even know who the leasing agent was. I paid her.
You paid her. Did you pay her cash or did you use a card?
There were some times that I would give her cash, but mostly I paid her via Cash App. That would be the most convenient thing. So I would not only give her rent, but then like when the utilities would come in, whatever the utility was, she might be like, I need $70, I need $100, whatever it was. And we never had a problem with money. Whatever she told me it was, I never asked to see a bill. I never questioned her. I just gave it to her.
What percentage would you say you paid cash versus Cash App?
Oh, the vast majority was Cash App. I don't know what percentage. I'm not going to guess that. But the vast majority was Cash App. But there would be times she would say, this bill came in at $70. Here goes $70.
Did you have a monthly rent amount that you paid her?
I can't remember. It was $1,400, $1,500. I can't remember what it was. And it would vary, which I don't understand to this day. But like I said, I never questioned her.
When did you move
Whatever
out?
she said it was, that's what I paid.
When did you
I
move out?
abruptly moved out in February, either late January or early February of 22.
Of 22.
Yes,
February
ma'am.
2022, is that what you said?
January, February of 22. I believe it is January, but I paid her half the rent of February of 22 is what I remember. And because I was offering to pay the whole rent, even though I didn't live there, I didn't think it was right. And I ended up just paying her half the rent.
So that's after you moved out. You said you paid her half of that. Okay. And the time that you said you had to move out of your house because you were scared, did your dad stay there at your house?
My father was concerned. Yes, we were both concerned.
Okay. But he remained there.
My father was 80 years old. He would have been 79. He was scared to death of COVID. You have to go back to when this was. My father's an older man. I wanted him to move out. We had some discussions about him moving out, and what he decided was the risk of COVID was more dangerous than the risk of the people that were threatening. Typical man, more worried about his daughter and his grandchildren than his own safety. You'll get to meet him, and you'll understand he doesn't scare too easily.
So his grandkids were living at the house as well at that time?
Well, I don't know how old your children are, but when you have adult children, they leave and they come back. They leave and they come back. So there have been periods of time that they're there, they come, they do whatever they want to do. Children do what children do. As long as their mother has a house, they'll come to it. Unfortunately, now the threats because of this case have gotten so extreme. I just pay a mortgage and no one lives there.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So when you moved out in, I think you said April 2021, you left your dad and your two kids at the house?
My dad and my two kids were not at the house, ma'am.
They were not? Okay, so they didn't still live at your house?
My youngest daughter certainly did not live there. Okay. My oldest daughter would come back and forth. I can't say month for month when she was there or when she was not there. I know that she has been there post me moving out. At this time, no one is at my house.
Okay. So at some point after you moved out for the safety reasons, at least one of your children did come back to the house.
Can we get to either the relationship or the financial benefit?
Yes. Let's see, we were back at 2021. So you were still friends with Miss Yeardy then. Were you also friends with Mr. Bradley?
I've never been friends with Mr. Bradley.
You've never been friends with Mr. Bradley?
No, I don't consider us to be friends. I don't dislike Mr. Bradley, but I don't consider us to be friends.
Is he someone that you would have in your phone and you would message with?
I might have text messaged him.
Okay. Would you text message him and Mr. Wade on the same conversations?
I don't recall doing that, but if it happened, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so that wouldn't surprise you, the three of you. Okay. How frequently would you think that the three of you would have texted?
Not very. I wouldn't think very often, but you're asking me to recall. I don't even know what time period you're asking me to recall, but I'm not going to speak to that because I just really don't know the answer to that. And so I don't want to speculate as to how often that would happen. But it's not out of my practice to text two people on one text message. So if you told me that happened and showed it to me, it wouldn't surprise me, although I have no recollection of it.
But there would be some record of it in your phone, or the phone records would have some record of those texts.
Perhaps.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yurdy cash. When you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one. Let's start with the first one. What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
I think the first time we went on vacation was around April of 22, and a vacation is a stretch, but I'm trying to be comprehensive. I recall April of 22. His birthday is March the 18th, so that would have been his 49th birthday. I took him to Tennessee for the day. I think we went to a museum. I think we might have stayed the night. I'm not sure, but Tennessee's kind of hard to call a vacation, but I just am trying to be inclusive. And like I said, I know it wasn't more than a day.
So you didn't spend the night?
I think that we did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility that we stayed that night in April of 22.
Who paid for the hotel?
I think I did. It was his birthday.
And would you have used a credit card?
Probably, maybe a debit.
You've been listening to live broadcast with Fani Willis, who has taken the stand, and it's really compelling to listen to the questions, the hostility. I mean, even the judge said that. Well, I think their lawyer said that you shouldn't be treating her like she's a hostile witness, and he's like, definitely adversarial or something.
The judge was like, well, she is pretty hostile.
Yeah, she keeps saying you're a liar. Telling all right, we got it back up here. Let's keep listening to Fani Willis as she's on the stand in Atlanta, Georgia.
Send a little letter and it says, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And you check it. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 22 is my recollection.
Okay, early 22. And you all went to Florida on vacation as well?
I don't recall going to Florida on vacation with him.
You never went to Florida with Mr. Wade?
When we went to get on the cruise ship, we went to Miami.
Okay, that's the only time that you went to Florida with him?
I think we went to Miami and spent the night. That's my recollection.
Okay.
I think we spent one night so that we wouldn't miss the ship. That's my recollection of our vacation.
Paid for that hotel?
In Miami?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
And how'd you get to Miami?
We would have flown. And we've done that, so that I'm clear, we've done that twice. I think one time we stayed, and I honestly can't tell you, did we stay when the ship left or did we stay when the ship came back? I also can't tell you, so there's 2 cruises out of Miami. There's one that's in that October time period that was with his mom. And then there was another that was a New Year's Eve trip. I know I paid for the New Year's Eve trip because the tickets were $697 each. And I thought this is ridiculous that the tickets are $700 to go to Miami. But when you travel during New Year's Eve, they get you.
So let's just back up and talk about the first time that you went to Florida with Mr. Wade. That was the time that you said you stayed in Miami at the hotel the first night?
That's the time I told you I am not sure. So I'm not sure of 2 things, so I want to make sure that my testimony is clear. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the October trip. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the December trip. I just can't remember that. And I also don't remember, so that the record is clear, I don't remember if the necessity was as we got on the ship or we got off the ship. But I do remember there was a night spent in Miami because either whatever, I don't remember. But I think that there was a night spent in Miami.
That cruise is the one that you took in October, right?
Ma'am, if you have something to refresh my recollection, I'm intentionally trying to not be difficult with you, but I don't want to make up something.
Right.
I know that on one of those 2 trips, we stayed in Miami. I am not sure right now. You're asking me about.
Oh, I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I was not asking you which night you stayed in Miami. I'm asking if you took a cruise in October 2022 with Mr. Wade.
Yes, and his mom.
And his mother. That's what I was asking.
Yes.
Is that the first time you met his mother?
Yes.
It was on that cruise, and that was Royal Caribbean, I believe?
I honestly don't remember what ship. I know we've taken 2 cruises. I don't know what the ships were.
But he paid for the flight and the cruise. on Royal Caribbean that time.
So yes, he paid. He is the original one that does it. He has something called, Mr. Wade is a world traveler. I'm not as versed as him. He's been to 6 of the 7 continents. And so he has both a personal travel agent and he also has a cruise travel agent. I don't know anything about either of those kind of travel agents. So he is the one that would book the travel. But we need to be clear when we're talking about just because he booked it doesn't mean, like, I don't consider him having taken me anyplace. Let me just be honest. The only one that's ever taken somebody someplace is for his 50th birthday. I consider that I took him to Belize. And I took him to Belize because, I don't want to discuss his personal business, but I'm happy Mr. Wade is still here with us. And I did 50 big, very big.
So still on that October Royal Caribbean cruise, even though he had a travel agent. I'm sorry?
If you do me a favor, I don't know what cruise ship, what time. So if you'll help me and say October cruise with Mama or the New Year's Eve trip with his sisters, I'll be able to, we can communicate. I just don't know what ship.
October cruise with Mama. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He paid for the cruise and the flights for that trip.
So he called his cruise agent and he booked that through them because he has a cruise agent.
Right.
He also has a regular agent. I don't know the cruise agent's name.
So I wasn't asking about his travel agent. I was just asking if he paid for those.
He did not, though. Okay. Because the reason I consider that he did not is I gave him his money back.
And I was about to ask that. But initially, he paid for that.
Yeah, he called his cruise agent. Like, I think they have his card on record. They do whatever.
Okay. So initially, he paid for the cruise and the flight to Miami and the Royal Caribbean cruise.
And my understanding of that October cruise is like it was a package the lady did for him.
Okay. And I'll get to the reimbursements and all that. I'm just trying to confirm he paid for the flight and the cruise in October.
And I think that when you say things that way, I want this record to be abundantly clear that he calls his travel agent, he calls his cruise agent. They do whatever he tells them. He's like on a first name basis with these people. They do it, and then he tells me how much it is, and I give him the money back. I don't, just like you're asking me about the money with Robin, I don't do my friends like that. So if you tell me it's a G, then you're going to get $1,000. Whatever it is, I didn't ever make him produce receipts to me. Whatever he told me it was, I gave him his money back.
Isn't it true that he paid for the cruise and the flight on his credit card? I'm not asking about reimbursement or after. He used his credit card to buy the cruise and buy the flight, correct?
I have no idea how he paid for it, if it's a credit card, if it's a debit card, but certainly he called his cruise agent. You know, like how many people have a cruise agent? He calls his cruise agent, tells them where they want to go. They tell him what's booked. And you have to remember, he paid for, that initial was me, him, and his mother.
And then after that cruise, you all flew to Aruba and spent a couple days in a hotel there, correct?
Right, and his mother was not happy.
He initially paid for that. He initially paid for that.
For Aruba, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's talk about both of those. I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
No.
Okay. So Fulton County pays you direct deposit, I assume?
Yes, Fulton County and the state of Georgia both pay me direct deposits.
Okay. So the cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank?
I have money in my house.
You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there.
When you meet my father, he's going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times. Now, I don't know why this old black man feels like that, but he does. When we were growing up, my daddy had 3 safes in the house. So my father's bought me a lockbox, and I always keep cash in the house. Now, I don't do it to the degree that my father would do it, so he would probably be ashamed with me, but I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket, so if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to, because I don't go on many dates, but when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from? If it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I've had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. It's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that. Like, to tell you, I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to all women.
So you can't identify when you came into this cash or where the cash came from?
I didn't say I couldn't identify it. No, nobody gives me anything. I am sure that the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me. What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is, so I got divorced in 2005 from my husband. No, it's important. You said, where did the money come from? And I need to tell you where the money came from. And so for many, many years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house at cash. At all times, there's going to be cash in my house or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from?
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
You know which job it came from? Did it come from Fulton County or did it come from a private job?
It came from, what are you talking about? So it could have come from a private job because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So I earned money during that time period that's probably in there.
You don't know
could have. What do you mean I don't know where it came from? I
understand the situation. We can move on.
Okay, thanks. Same with Aruba. You don't know where that cash came from either, right?
Ma'am, you are mischaracterizing my testimony greatly. I'm not going to allow you to mischaracterize my testimony. I know that I keep money in my house. The amounts of money I gave Mr. Wade, it was never that serious. I don't think I've ever handed him more than $2,500 in a reimbursement. So we're not talking about $20,000 in cash. I don't have $20,000 in cash right now. The most I ever gave him, I know I gave him $2,500 when we went to Belize because we went to one hotel and then we went to a second hotel. That $2,500 I actually gave him while we were still in Belize. I know that the Aruba trip, the one that you described with his mom, I think I gave him about $2,000 for that trip, for like total.
His mom went to Aruba with you?
The Aruba trip. So I consider that to be one trip. So we got off of a cruise ship and then we went to Aruba, which is why I cannot remember is that the time that we had to stay in Miami to wait for the flight for Aruba. So I consider that one trip, but we didn't like come back to Atlanta and leave. We flew down to Miami. We got on a cruise ship. We spent a couple of days with his mama. We came back to Miami. When we came back to Miami, either that day or the next day, we flew to Aruba. We spent a few days in Aruba and we came back. That was really one trip. Even though we went two places, it was one trip.
So let's talk about the California trip. Is that when you were moving your daughter out to California? When you all went, or did you have two trips to California?
My daughter doesn't live in California.
Did she ever live in California?
I'm not discussing to you the location of my child.
So how many times did you go with Mr. Wade to California?
Once.
And you all stayed in Napa Valley and he paid for the plane tickets and the hotel?
He paid for the plane tickets and the hotel.
And what did you pay for on that trip?
I gave him much less cash that time, probably $400 or $500, and then I paid for a bunch of stuff. I think we did 2 different wine tours that you do, which are pretty expensive. I think I bought him, he likes wine. I don't really like wine, to be honest with you. I like Grey Goose. I bought him a bottle of wine while we were there, and the sippings that you do. I can't remember how many, like 4 or 5 different places you go. I remember we went to this place that they do pairings. That was the most expensive thing that I think that we did while we were there. So they would pair, champagne, chocolate, and caviar. It was a 3, and it was like 3 different things: Sweden, Russia, someplace else. I'll make that up. But that was the most expensive thing we did that trip, and I paid for that.
You pay cash?
For us doing that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that trip did not cost me a lot of money. I might have took like $750 in cash on me because we weren't gone very long.
I'd only asked if you paid in cash. I don't need to know the amounts. in
When I
your
travel, I always take cash.
And is the cash that you keep in your house, or do you keep it at the condo that you were living in?
So at that point, it wouldn't be at my house, and I'm sorry if I was not clear. The money would be wherever I laid my head. So I wouldn't leave the money at the house. So if I was unclear, no, money's going to be where I stay.
How much did you pay for your trip to Panama?
To where?
Panama, I believe.
I didn't go to Panama.
I may have the location wrong.
I never went to Panama.
So
Mr.
after
Wade went to Panama with his frat brother.
Oh, he went to Panama with his frat brothers. So tell me about, let's see. So I want to make sure I've got them. I've got Belize. You already covered Belize. You covered the...
So let me tell you our real trips. In October, we went on the cruise with his mom. We got back from the cruise with his mom and we went to Aruba. I consider that one trip. Second trip, New Year's Eve, we went on a cruise to the Bahamas. That's the second trip. I want to make sure I get this right. Third trip, 100% on me. I think he might have spent $200 on that entire trip. We went to Belize. That was my trip. That was, his 50th. And then Napa Valley, we went around May. I don't know the dates, but it seems to me like it was close to Mother's Day.
And those are the only trips?
So that the record is complete, I can remember one time driving to, where were we? South Carolina, and we met my sister for lunch with her man.
When was that?
I don't know, but we didn't stay the night there. But I guess people would consider that a trip if you drive somewhere and you come back. That was insane because it was like 5 hours to drive. We ate lunch and we drove right back. I can remember driving to some little town in Georgia. I don't even know where I was. I had never been there before or after. There's some boat you can get on over to, and there's like a slave thing, if that gives anyone any reference. We didn't do that. I remember doing that. I remember driving one time to Charlotte. We had lunch with one of my very close girlfriends, and again, we drove to Charlotte, met my girlfriend for lunch, and drove right back. So that's a trip. We didn't stay the night there, but I just want to be complete in my testimony. We drove someplace, had lunch, drove back. I don't remember another driving someplace distant for lunch and coming back to Charlotte to see a girlfriend, to meet my sister in South Carolina. We went by ourselves when I told you about that remote place in Georgia. We could have driven someplace else and had lunch and came back, but that's all that comes to my recollection right now. There could have been another place we drove and had lunch. My security team was very clear to me. I'm not to be out and about in Atlanta without them. And so for me to do something just very normal that a normal person would get to do if they weren't prosecuting this case, I got to drive 4 hours to do it.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Your security detail, did they take you to and from your house?
So I haven't been able to enjoy my home.
Condo, I'm sorry.
Since March of...
Where you lay your head? Did they take you to and from where you lay your head?
99% of the time.
Would they take Mr. Wade to and from wherever you laid your head?
That has never in the history of ever happened, ever, okay?
Your security team has never taken him?
From my house? That's a lie.
That's another. If they've ever taken him anywhere.
And I'm telling you that that's never happened.
So your security team has never taken Mr. Wade
My security team has never taken Mr. Wade from any place where I have lived and brought him here. Never. Not once. Not ever.
Have they ever taken the two of you together?
To where?
Anywhere.
Well, we've left this building and gone to lunch, but I go to lunch so rarely that is a very rare occasion, I am sure. And let me be clear, it wouldn't just be Mr. Wade. So I'm sure my security team has taken me to lunch. Probably been a time I've left here 7 o'clock, gone to get something to eat. And I don't even know that they would have taken him or if he would have driven himself, but they've taken me to do that. But we're talking very few, very far in between. Most days I don't even eat lunch. And when I do, it's because my assistant has heated up some bag, something, and I eat through meetings and eat in my office. It's not a practice of mine to go to lunch.
During the time period that you were dating, would your security team ever take you two together anywhere?
No.
Never?
If there was a lunch that occurred that I just described, if there was a meal that occurred that I just described, anything outside of that, and it needs to be very clear. Not often, once, twice, because I want to be over-inclusive, I'm saying once or twice. I'm not certain that it happened, but I'd rather be over-inclusive with you.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
And, well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question was, do you have any problem?
I object to getting any personal records of mine.
We're not dealing with privilege through a witness.
And I'm not, no, I'm not dealing with privilege. What we had offered to put them in camera for the court to review, and I just want to know if she has any
That's
problem.
not something you deal with a witness.
Okay, you have to file as part of your job something called an income and financial disclosure report, correct?
That's correct.
And you filed your first one, so you filed 2 to date, is that right?
Is it 2 or 3? I probably would have filed 21, 22, and maybe I haven't filed 23 yet, because isn't it due like June of the next year?
April, I believe. So you filed, let's see, you filed your first one, it looks like April 15th, 2022, and your second one, April 17th, 2023. Does that sound familiar?
That I don't remember the dates, but you're an officer of the court. I'm gonna hope you're telling the truth now.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. I already gave the state a copy. Exhibit 20 and 21, if you take a look at those. They were part of the certified records.
Can somebody bring me some? Yeah. Guys are getting a little old. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Those are the ones that you filed.
This looks like me for sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Judge, we'd move to admit 20 and 21.
I think you need to delineate which one's which
20
one's which.
is 2021, so it accounts for the time period, Your Honor, January the 1st, 21 through December the 31st, 2021. That is Defendant's Exhibit 20. Defendant's Exhibit 2021, it accounts for the time period, January the 1st, 2022 through December the 1st of 2022.
All right. Any objection to Exhibits 20 and 21?
Nope. Sorry.
From other counsel? Admitted without objection.
Yeah. When did your personal relationship with Mr. Wade end?
Our personal relationship ended in this year. So let's be very clear so that we don't mix words. I don't want to mix words in here. Mr. Wade is my friend right now. Mr. Wade, I would say, has been my friend since 2020. I think he started out as like a mentor and a professional colleague. He became my friend and somebody that I really respected. I feel very indebted to Mr. Wade for taking on the task of this job. And he is certainly my friend and one of the people that I respect the most. So if you ask about a personal relationship, I consider myself to have a personal relationship right now, Mr. Wade. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Anna Cross. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Mr. Abadi. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Andrew Evans.
Okay, let me just clarify that.
I have a personal relationship with him as we speak right now. I don't think that's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking.
When did your romantic relationship with Mr. Wade end? Did it end?
Me and Mr. Wade, we are good friends. My respect for him has grown over these 7 weeks of attacks. We are very good friends. I think, but for these attacks, it would have been a friendship that, as life goes, he would have stopped having. I think that you have cemented that we'll be friends to the day we die.
Let's.
Could we just have an answer to the question?
I can handle Mr. Seda. Let's have it.
She asked about a personal relationship.
She asked when the romantic relationship ended. That's the question.
It's sometime in, I'd say late summer of 2023. So I don't believe me and, this is what you're really asking about. This is the salaciousness of all of this, right?
No, I'm just asking about your romantic relationship, when you stopped dating.
I think that me and Mr. Wade, so he's a man, he probably would say June or July I would say we had a tough conversation in August. So that men in relationships at the end of physical intimacy, women in relationships when that tough conversation takes place.
And where, when did he come to, I guess, the condo? I'm not sure what you called it, condo apartment. Would he come and stay at that condo or visit you there? I'm sorry, visit you there.
What condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
So not your house. I know you classified one as house and one as condo, so I'm trying to use those terms.
So but there's been more see, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move. And so I
Ms.
need
Merchant, if you could ask a more precise question.
Yes, please, give me the time period.
Mr. Wade visited you at the place you laid your head.
When?
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Ms. Willis? Mr. Saynow, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes. Be back in 5.
So they're breaking right now in the courthouse. Fonnie Willis has been real spicy. I think the word is hostile, but they're taking a break. And we are going to take a break as well. Stick around. More Annie Frey show here in just a minute. We know that Mark Reardon is going to have legal experts on his show to recap what is going on. The Fonnie Willis taking the witness stand has just taken a break, and we will be back after a short break here on the Annie Frey show. Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan, and Stewie is your best go-to when it comes to your mortgage that you are taking out on the home that you're going to buy, making sure that you make the smartest decision with that mortgage decision the first time. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You call Stewie or you text Stewie at 314-324-4440 and say, how can a bagel loan help me? You use the bagel loan, which is only available at Stewart's American Mortgage, and you are going to pay zero in closing costs that those other lenders out there will charge you for, which means when you get into that mortgage, you're going to be able to get the lowest rate available to you through Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, but you're not going to have to pay all those closing costs, which can amount to thousands of dollars when you go through making that final transaction. You can also use the bagel loan for a mortgage refinance. So if you had one of those sky-high mortgages because you had to make a purchase when the time came and rates were super high, get a bagel loan refinance. Don't pay anything in closing costs. Lower that rate. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
Poll results in just a second here. It's 2:53. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
All right, welcome back. That ending there to Fonnie Willis on the witness stand, which I've been asking some of our legal expert friends in private messages about what's coming.
At stake?
Yeah, what does it mean for Fani Willis to be taking the stand? Is that a surprise? And they said they were doing everything they could to prevent it. And she said when she took the stand that she was in her office pacing, and then she ran to the courtroom when the prior testimony had wrapped up. And then she has been hostile, very hostile. And at the end there, she's attacked the attorney that is questioning her, calling her a liar repeatedly, to the point where the judge also really was saying, no, you're out of line. And then they took a 5-minute break.
And they forced that break. I don't think they were intending to, because they're going back into it now with more testimony. They said, okay, hang on now. We're going to take a 5-minute break because things are getting a little out of hand. That was wild at the end there.
Yeah, it was.
Well, she came out that way too.
Yes.
I mean, she came out hard and hostile, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit in the middle, and then it ramped right back up right there at the end.
It makes you wonder what her philosophy is behind coming in, being very aggressive and insulting to the attorney that was questioning her. So I just want to stress, Mark Reardon is going to be taking over for us here in just a couple minutes, and he is going to have your coverage of this as it happens. He's also going to have, all the other news. There's a lot of news taking place today. He's supposed to have Brad Young in the 4 o'clock hour to react to us and surmise what we have learned today. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, will the Democratic ticket in November be Biden-Harris? Answers, your options are yes, no Biden, no Harris, or neither. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm a yes, but with my second place being no Biden, that Harris actually would take over. But my first is yes.
We started talking about this earlier in the show, and I don't know if I ever got around to this point, but the idea that Joe Biden is kind of a placeholder and he's easy to puppet, and there's a kind of a president by committee that feels like it's taking place, Kamala Harris would move into that position and accept those circumstances,
yes,
in my opinion. So that's the only thing that Harris offers. The bottom line, the retention of power in the Democratic Party, is that I think she is very eager to be managed for the opportunity to be the president.
Yeah, among the people who are currently pulling those strings.
Brad, your thoughts? Is it Biden-Harris? Is it no Biden, no Harris, or is it neither of them?
It's no Biden, but Harris.
You think Harris is in?
Yes. And I don't think that they're going to be happy about it.
Man, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's neither. So let's get to the results here. 6% of you say there's no Harris. 21% of you say no Biden. You think it is Biden and Harris, 35%, and 39% say neither.
Wow.
Neither was the winner, although very dispersed. Mark Reardon with all the latest coverage in just a minute.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market.